Hey there, all you cool, epic, and awesome fans, followers, and listeners. Welcome back. You're now listening to episode 36 of the Cool, Epic, Awesome podcast. My name is Matt. I'm your co-host.
I'm your other co-host, Joe.
And on today's episode, we have a very, very special guest who has been waiting for a long time to join us. And that is our sister, Alexandra. So if you want to introduce yourself, Alexandra, tell us... tell the fans a little bit more about your interests in film and TV. What kind of stuff do you like to watch?
Yeah.
Okay, well, hi guys. Hi everybody listening. I'm Alexandra. I'm their sister. Definitely been waiting a long time to be on the podcast, so I'm very happy to be here. Some of my interests in terms of like movies and film, I definitely am a big Marvel fan. I love the Marvel movies. I also like musicals, so any musical movies and rom-coms. My favorite movie of all time is probably The Nightmare Before Christmas. And then another personal favorite right below that is Legally Blonde, which is totally different from The Nightmare Before Christmas. And then in terms of like actors and actresses, I would say my favorite actress is probably Brie Larson. I love everything that she's in. I watch mostly all her stuff. And actors, probably Andrew Garfield. And in terms of TV, I like pretty much all the classic things that girls my age like. I love Gilmore Girls, loved Criminal Minds. And I like sci-fi TV shows a lot. Yeah.
Cool. And you're really into musicals, like Broadway stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Broadway person. Mostly like within the last year, since I started hanging out more in the city, I've gone to a lot of musicals. I love musicals.
Yeah, I know we're going to talk about some more musicals later, but how do you feel like the movie musicals compare to seeing it in, live on Broadway?
Most of the time, I wind up being disappointed, like, in a comparison, but, like, you can't really compare anything to live theater. Live theater is, like, always going to be a step above.
Yeah.
There's only, like, a few movie musicals that I would say like compare very well, but there's a lot that are disappointing, which we could talk about later.
Yeah, I feel like there's pros and cons of each. At least for a movie, it's like you could do as many takes as you want, kind of thing.
I would rather actually have like a pro shot instead of a movie music. For instance, basically like a pro shot, they just like record the musical itself on a stage versus like a movie, they make it into a film. But I think pro shots are better.
I think I've watched... I tried to watch the Hamilton one because it was on Disney Plus, but I only got like halfway through.
Yeah, Hamilton's a long musical.
Yeah, but... Alright, anyways, I guess we can move on to our first movie of the day, which I know you mentioned Brie Larson, Alexandra, and this movie is basically the whole reason why you're here.
Yes, it is.
And
we're waiting a while for
that
this
is
movie.
The Marvel Studios' newest film release, aka Captain Marvel 2, which follows Captain Marvel as she is introduced to two other heroes, Miss Marvel, who had her own show, and Monica Rambeau, who was pretty prominent in WandaVision. And Alexandra, I gotta ask, did this live up to the hype for you?
So I have a lot of thoughts. I'm a little biased, I would say, because Captain Marvel is my favorite Avenger, and I was so like heavily attached to her original movie. But I've also been waiting a long time. This movie was supposed to come out, I think, in 2021 in July, and then it was pushed to November, and then February, and then like a whole 2 years later, now it's finally coming out. Personally, I was really... There were definitely a couple of things that I wish we could have gotten more of, but I think overall, considering the parts about it that I loved and what I've been waiting for, I was pretty happy with how it turned out.
Yeah.
Good. What about you, Joe?
I mean, I enjoyed it, but I definitely... like you said, it kind of felt like it was just like filler. I don't know. Like, it was fun. I enjoyed it. The action scenes were really cool. Like, all the leads were great. But, I don't know, like, the villain was just very... I don't know, like, mustache twirly, like... I get motivations and stuff, but I don't know, I feel like the villain was just... kind of didn't really serve a purpose at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Joe, could you do me a favor and just check your Wi-Fi? Because I'm getting a lot of feedback on my end. Just make sure your Wi-Fi is correct and connected. I don't know if it's just me, but I think a lot of what you said got cut off.
I was in a dream.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. I'm on the Files one.
All right, yeah. So it might just be me, but all right, yeah. So for my thoughts, like you said about filler, that's my biggest problem with the movie. To me, it doesn't, like, it is a standalone movie. It has a beginning, middle, and end, but nothing really happens. Like, it just feels like pushing towards the next step of the MCU. Like, it sets up things, and the whole purpose of the movie really was to build on that relationship of Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and it's like kind of introducing them to each other. I don't think there's a lot of stakes in terms of the MCU, especially with the villain. I think the villain sucked.
Yeah.
I honestly think she might be the worst villain in the entire MCU. I don't know.
Yeah,
if you agree with that.
I didn't even really understand like her backstory so much, because how did she get, like, I know that she was a Kree soldier, and I think what was supposed to, like, it was supposed to be like, I guess during the Civil War, like, she was one of the people who stepped up to try and be a leader, and that's how she became like what she is. But I feel like they didn't really explain it very well, because she's supposed to be like an accuser.
Yeah, and you saw it. You saw the movie how many times so far?
I saw it 3 times. Yeah, I will say I liked it better each time I watched it.
God,
the second
you're
time
contributing to the very low box office.
I know, which like that, like, I don't know. I don't know if we want to talk about that now, but
we could talk about that a little later. But
yeah,
to me, I mean, the villain, and I'll get into spoilers a little bit, but the whole thing is she's after these wristbands, and one of them is the one that Miss Marvel gets in her TV show. She finds one, and then, by the end, she gets both. They're supposed to be able to be used to open up portals. At first, it's explained that they're supposed to open up portals within the same universe. But then at the end, it's like, oh, they open portals to different universes. And that's how Captain Rambo ends up getting stuck in an alternate universe. I feel like they didn't really explain how the bands work that well.
I think they do explain it, like, you get more of a backstory on at least Kamala's band in Miss Marvel, I feel. Because, like, the whole thing of, like, her traveling through space-time, like, that all takes place in her show.
Yeah. I mean, I watched the show, but it was so long ago that I forgot. Like, I
rewatched it before.
Yeah,
because I knew that I was going to be, like, a little confused.
Yeah, and then the villain just goes out in the lamest way. She tries to use it and just disintegrates.
I also feel like there wasn't, like, out of everything that I didn't like, the main thing was probably, like, the villain, because I just feel like there wasn't, like, high stakes. Like, it took them, like, basically nothing to, like, overpower her, essentially. So I feel like I mean,
the villain really won. She got what she wanted, and then she just killed herself by accident,
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was strange. I thought it was kind of weird how the villain was able to, like, when Captain Marvel shot blast at the villain, she could absorb it into the wristband and then shoot it back.
Yeah, they didn't really explain
but Captain Marvel kept shooting energy at her. You would think that if she knows she's going to rebound it, she would stop.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what power does she really have besides that, like, staff thing? I don't know. I think the more you start to think about the plot and how things work, it starts to fall apart.
I feel like
if you just look at it on the surface level, yeah, go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
The chemistry of, like, the 3 leads, like, carries the movie a lot.
Yeah, but that was, like, what I was most looking forward to anyway. I will say,
that's the only, like, that's what I was. That was the only thing I was really interested in the movie.
But, like, out of, like, the 3 of them, I actually was, like, disappointed the most in, like, I don't think they did a good job with Monica's character, because I feel like if you watch WandaVision, like, the only information you get is, like, the end of WandaVision, she gets these powers, and then when this movie starts, she suddenly has everything figured out. Like, she understands her entire power set. She knows how to use it. We didn't see her get to, like, develop into that, I guess. And, like, at the end of WandaVision, they show her, like, meeting Nick Fury. Like, she was supposed to go meet him in space.
Yeah.
But I wish that we could have gotten to see her, like, adjust to this. It just seemed like she was so, like, totally fine with having these powers that she never had before. And they only explained it that one time when she explains it to Carol. So I kind of wish we got more from her.
It's just implied, like, it's been such an extended period of time that like she's just because she's with Shield, and it's not like superheroes are new. Like the superheroes have existed already in this world for mad long. So she probably like learned from Shield like how to do superhero shit essentially.
Yeah, I think we're just supposed to assume that she's been working with Nick Fury for some time. And ended up.
Speaking of Nick Fury, like I loved the way his character was written. Like I really enjoyed his comedy, but like it's kind of insane to think that like he went from. If you watch Secret Invasion, like everyone around him just like died. Like Maria Hill died. Who was
he finds out Rhodey's a Skrull.
Rhodey's a Skrull, like, and then in this one he's just like snapping his fingers, doing comedy and shit. And I was like, I mean, it's good in the movie, but I'm saying like the tone, it's kind of a crazy like shifting character.
I think that just has to do with the oversaturation of the Marvel products, and Kevin Feige, I think, can't really keep his finger on every single project.
Yeah.
I know. He keeps like connecting things, and I feel like there's like just so much going on.
And like what did it even watching Secret Invasion, like what did that even really how did that push the narrative anywhere?
I saw someone say like they're just gonna try and forget it.
And it's not even like you can argue that like it doesn't matter about like pushing the narrative forward for this whole MCU if the story's good, but the story sucks. So it's like, what was the point of the whole? You know what I mean?
Also, another thing, did you guys watch Secret Invasion or no?
I mean, I watched like most of it,
but I know what happens. I didn't watch it.
So a big plot point of it is that Nick Fury has been secretly taking the DNA of all the Avengers in order to like replicate them into a weapon.
Oh yeah.
So he had Captain Marvel's DNA. So you don't think it's weird that like never got brought up in the movie between them, that he like stole her DNA and used it to create in the show. There's one character.
She's supposed to know that, I guess, at this point, right?
But how would they know?
I mean, I guess maybe because Gaia shows up in the show and she like is using Captain Marvel's powers in it. I guess I feel like she would know.
She would have figured it out.
It's just like shit like that. That's like making the MCU not as connected, and
Yeah.
It's hard when it's this. Excuse me. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. That's something Shield would hide, and like just a random scroll showing up with like similar characters to Captain Marvel like isn't the craziest thing in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you'd have to see it in the context of the show. It's not just like a random scroll with her powers. Like,
I know she's
it's what's his name's daughter.
Like a god. Like she has like every superpower basically.
It's Talos's daughter.
I was gonna say
she has like everything.
But also, like, if in theory, like she had a relationship with him, Talos, like Carol did. So, like in theory, if his daughter now has the powers of this person that he like used to have a friendship with, you would think that they would have, I don't know, talked about it at some point.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, speaking about the Skrulls, too, I actually thought that what they did with the Skrulls in this was a very clever way to bring Valkyrie into the movie. I know
I agree.
Saw that when she was revealed in the trailers, I was like, how is Valkyrie going to connect to this movie in any way? But it actually did make sense.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense.
The only thing I saw people questioning was the fact that, which I don't know if this is true because I didn't see Secret Invasion, but at the end of Secret Invasion, whoever, either the president or someone, makes some announcement saying that like any like superhuman or like alien like beings that they're gonna like they can't live on Earth or whatever, and New Asgard is supposed to be on Earth. So it was like, why is she bringing them?
I guess that's just like a problem they'll have to deal with at some point.
Yeah.
And they were like,
but I loved her being there. I thought that was like a good way to, I don't know,
include her.
Yeah, include her. And I know that like what?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I know that like Tessa Thompson and Brie Larson have been like pushing for them to interact at all in the MCU like for a long time. So it was good to see like them together in like any sort of capacity. And I know that it was probably more of like a fan service, at least I would think, but I still think that they did like a good enough job that it didn't necessarily feel like that. So I liked it.
Sense, like,
it made sense.
It made sense.
Yeah. it was weird. I mean, I know a lot of people are pushing for like Carol and Valkyrie to have a romance, and I think there was some sort of nuance to their meeting a little bit. I don't know. What do you think, Alexander? Do you think they implied that there was something more there? Or, I don't know.
I mean, I would like to hope, because like I think that would be like a good relationship for the two of them, but it just feels to me more of like they showed that because they know people want it, but I don't think that they'll ever follow through. Like I think that they hinted to it because they know that this is what people want, but I don't foresee them.
I think they will.
If they do, I think that'd be great.
If they really had the balls to do it, they would have made them like kiss or something.
Yeah.
And act, and she would have been like, "Oh yeah, like this is my girlfriend" or something.
Yeah.
They don't want to get banned in like certain countries.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think that they would have like a good relationship, and I just see it just seemed like based on the very small like interaction they had that they're clearly like good friends at least, which is funny because like we never really see, the only other time they ever interact is that like one scene in Endgame. So it's just like interesting to see that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when did this relationship even form?
Because like that's the only time they interact is in the final battle in Endgame, and then after that it's like they don't. But now it seems like they're like good friends. So I mean, if they develop the relationship further, I think that'd be great.
I like little things like that when someone just shows up for like a second, because it just shows, there is this bigger world of the MCU and there's these other characters out there that even if they show up for a second, it's not like as the audience, you're not like, oh, why didn't this person show up to help? Like it actually, someone from the MCU actually did show up to help, and a lot of times they don't. So, but yeah, in terms of like your favorite character in the movie, did you guys have favorites?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, you can go first.
So I actually think that my favorite character in this movie specifically was Kamala. After watching Miss Marvel, I liked her, but I honestly think it has a lot to do with Iman Vellani. I've been watching like a lot of her interviews and just like a lot of stuff about her recently, and like if you like Kamala and Iman are like the same person. Like it's crazy. Like Iman is this like huge super fan of the MCU. She carries a notebook with her at all times that's just like full of like Marvel related questions, and it's just like I love what she does to this character. And I know that I know Matthew, you mentioned it to me the other day, that her character is almost like on like the borderline of like being annoying, which I saw people like tweeting about. And to me, I don't agree with that, because if you compare, like, go back and rewatch like Spider-Man Homecoming.
I didn't really hear people say that.
Matthew mentioned to me when we were walking out of the theater.
That wasn't something that I seen. That was just my personal.
But I've been on like Twitter and stuff.
She's like so close to being annoying.
Yeah,
that I'm like kind of mixed on her.
It wasn't just you, because I definitely saw. Just that I think it's hard, like even subconsciously, for people to like her, just because it's not like a I guess a normal character. But like think back to like the way that Peter Parker was like in the beginning, like when he first met Tony Stark, and when he was first like his whole scene on the spaceship in like Infinity War, like he was doing all of the same kind of things. And I feel like people are just like don't want to like her. I don't know, but I like love that that's the way she is. And also just like put yourself. What?
No. You put yourself.
No, just like if you put yourself like in her shoes, like not only like the difference between like her and I guess like Peter is like she like idolizes Captain Marvel so much, and she has these powers. So like even like that joke that Monica makes, like she like writes fan fiction about her. Like it's like this like such this deep love that she has, and then she gets thrown into this like team, and she like doesn't have a choice to be with her.
I really didn't hear anybody say that she was annoying.
I see it on Twitter.
That was just me. But I get what you're saying, and it is a similar dynamic with Peter. I don't think it is as exaggerated. Like he does have his moments where when Tony Stark tries to open the door for him and he like hugs him.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little different though, because like she's supposed to be like a super fan of Miss Marvel.
I was gonna say, yeah, like that's like her whole like in the comics,
Peter,
like that's literally her whole
Peter,
thing.
like knows who Tony Stark is and he thinks he's like
Yeah.
mad cool, but he's not like obsessed with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I
actually
also
thought- I
just
was
feel
trying
like
to-
she had what? I keep interrupting.
I thought
you.
Miss Marvel as a character reminded me of you. I can't even lie.
Yeah, maybe that's why I like
Yeah,
her
just-
so much. Yeah, especially
not
because like
as
specifically,
insane, obviously, but just
Yeah.
like how she talked about Captain Marvel and stuff.
Yeah,
She
And just,
reminded
like,
me of you
yeah.
a little.
and even like just like not even like specifically like how much I love Captain Marvel, just like how much I love like Taylor Swift. Like compared to that, like I feel like I'm really passionate about things like that, and she is too. But I will say like another reason why I liked her character, like not just because of like who she is. I like that she had this like moment of like realizing that like she wasn't everything that she thought she would be, like Carol Danvers, and also her realizing at like the end, like she had that one moment of being like, okay, like maybe I came on too strong, which I thought was nice that they allowed her to like reconcile for a second.
Yeah.
And it was almost like their relationship became like a substitute for what she, like Carol, lost from like what she never had with Monica, because like she lost like most of Monica's childhood because of the blip and because she left and never came back. And I don't know if you noticed this, but there's like that one scene when like they're showing the flashback and they show like Monica getting into the plane and she's like, the pilot seat's all yours. And then at the end, like Carol says that to Kamala, which I thought was really like a nice full circle moment.
Like a callback.
Yeah,
I guess
which I thought was really sweet.
Maybe Captain Marvel feels like she could sort of make up for not being there for Monica by kind of being there for Kamala. Yeah, I didn't pick up, but that's actually interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, my favorite character, I actually liked Captain Marvel the most. And I've always liked Captain Marvel. I know people hate on her, for sure. But I liked the first movie. I thought she was... In Endgame, I think she could have been used a little bit better. She kind of just shows up at the end, but I liked her. And yeah, I like Brie Larson. I think she's a great actress.
Yeah.
And yeah, I enjoyed her in this movie. Although I liked her suit too a lot. I just wish it might have been a little more colorful. It was a little dull.
Yeah, what you mean?
But
the design was nice.
I liked her first suit better.
No, I like this one best, but like design wise. But if they just like made it a little bit brighter, it would be like perfect. But
yeah. What about you, Joe?
Nice things.
Of the three Marvels, which one did you like the most?
Probably Kamala. But I mean, I think the best written character, honestly, is Fury. I just think he's the, I don't know. Out of all the characters, I enjoyed his dialogue the most.
In terms of comedy, though, I'm also gonna shout out to Kamala's mom. I thought she was really funny.
I was gonna talk about that dialogue. Too.
She's good in the show too.
Yeah, I like that they like had her family there like the whole time. I just thought that they were such a good addition.
It's pretty. That's how they are in the show, pretty much. Like dynamic.
Yeah, like basically the same. Which I thought. Which also, like, speaking of what you were saying about Fury, I watched an interview the other day with like Iman Vellani, and she was talking about how like Samuel L. Jackson, like she was surprised that he like he remembers like all of these Marvel films that he's ever done, and she said like when he's acting, he's able to like call back to like things that he did like years ago in a Marvel film and be like, oh, like I'm doing this because this happened like all those years ago. So I think that's another thing that he's really good about, because he's been in so many, like almost every Marvel film, or I don't want to say every, but it's been in a lot of Marvel films. So for her to, so for him to be able to like call back to these things that he did years ago was a lot.
I think he's like a nerd though too. He's been in the Star Wars movies and things.
Yeah.
But
he's
I feel like he loves this shit. You know, that's why he keeps coming back to do it. And of an actor of his caliber, like he doesn't have to if he doesn't want to.
No,
he must want to do it.
He also he does what he's doing the fucking Garfield movie. Too.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Damn. I know him and Brie Larson are like good friends because they've done like a bunch of like not just Marvel stuff. They've done a lot of movies together.
He's gonna be in that movie. That movie Argyle next year. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer.
He is. You're right.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be playing like he looks like he's like a Nick Fury type of person in there.
Yeah.
It's about spies. The movie.
Yeah. He was also in Kingsman, which is about spies. He's versatile. He's
He
versatile.
was a villain. He was a villain in the first one, right?
Yeah. I wanted to ask though, also, do our favorite scenes really quick. Mine, I actually really like the scene when they're saving the scrolls, and it's kind of like Miss Marvel's first big, like, her time to be a superhero. And Carol is kind of like, Miss Marvel's realizing that a lot of these scrolls are gonna die, and she's like, we can't just leave them here. And then Captain Marvel kind of tells her, like, we can't save everyone. We have to just save who we can.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that scene was really impactful because not only does it, one, show Kamala kind of like downside of being a hero is that you can't save everyone, but it also shows that Captain Marvel isn't this perfect superhero that she looks up to that always saves everyone. She has her own flaws and she has to make tough decisions. So I thought that scene was really well handled, and it helped to add like a different kind of dynamic to their relationship. So
yeah.
All right, one of you guys could go.
You go.
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, like I did enjoy that sequence of them. I also like the final fight. Honestly, I like how they took advantage of them switching places. Like, it made for a really unique style of like fighting.
It's something that we had that it is unique. Really, it's not something that you see in like action.
They've never done that before.
Yeah, I'm curious what your favorite scene was, Alexandra.
So when we were prepping for this, I kind of picked two because I have like a favorite scene, like cinematography wise, which I think like Nia, the director, did like such a good job with, which was the first like sequence when Carol, Kamala, and Monica are switching simultaneously between the living room, the spaceship, and like the elevator where Nick Fury is. Like the way that was
great.
It was so just like well done. I think the director did such a good job, especially like the way that like Kamala takes Goose with her first by accident, and then she accidentally takes like the two. She like surrounds them with like the ball of light, and accidentally takes like two soldiers into the elevator with Nick Fury, and it was like them like trying to figure out what was going on like at the same time as they were fighting. And I just think like the director did such a good job. I thought that was and the music in the background was so good. It was such like an entertaining scene to watch. But that was just like in terms of like the cinematography, I guess. But my favorite scene, I think, is probably like that scene when they like get off the plane. Or not the plane, when they get off the ship, like right after Kamala like opened the jump point without like saying anything, because Carol was like trying to like beat out the like missiles on her own, and they were like no, because I feel like it was a good healing moment for like all three of them. I like that she finally had this like real conversation with Monica about why she didn't come back, and that Monica, told her that all she wanted was her aunt. I thought that was really nice. And I also like that they still acknowledged Kamala in that moment, and that she like still got her like moment of recognition. I thought that was like such a sweet scene between the three of them. I just love like their character dynamics, the three of them, so much.
Yeah. Why do you think why did Captain Marvel like have something to prove in that scene? That confused me a little bit. Like, why was she not just like, let's go back? I think
that they're trying to like show her. First of all, she has this thing where she has like a need to do everything on her own, which they could touch upon a little bit, like when Valkyrie's like, you don't need to stand alone. But also I think because it connects to the thing that they like gave her the nickname Annihilator, and this would be like the second time that she tried to save like the planet, and it failed because the first was on Tarnax when they had to like leave all the scrolls behind. So I think she really did not want that to happen again. And that's why she was like so adamant about not leaving, because she was so determined to like somehow fix it,
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
I guess that's a good point. But
yeah.
You guys wanna talk about the post credit scene a little bit, and the end,
like the end of the movie scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could talk about that ending scene. They kinda I didn't know this going in. I didn't know there was gonna be a scene setting up this, because it doesn't really like, you wouldn't think of this specific team that they tease when you think about like the Marvels, I guess. But they have a tease to Young Avengers, because Kate Bishop, shows up at the end, played by Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah.
And there's like a cute little scene where Miss Marvel is waiting in her apartment, and it's kind of like a callback to when Nick Fury was waiting in Tony Stark's house, and he was like, "Oh, you think you're the only superpowered person?" And she kind of like is her own little Nick Fury.
Yeah.
I feel like you really probably like that scene, Alexandra.
Yeah, that was the scene that I like knew about going, but I thought that was the post-credit scene, so I didn't know about the second one. But I love that they like had her do like the callback to like what Nick Fury did, which I thought was really interesting. I also thought it was funny that she's like, "Did you think you were only the kid superhero?" And Kate Bishop was like, "I'm 23." Because if you think about it, they're really pretty far apart in age. Like Kate is 23. I think Kamala's supposed to be like 16 years old, and she's showing up to this girl's apartment in New York, asking her to be on a team.
Yeah,
I
honestly,
also like.
Wait, how old?
Sorry, not to cut you off, but
No, it's okay.
I thought that the way the MCU is right now, I kind of thought they were just going to be like, all right, we're not going to deal with the Young Avengers right now, but they directly tease it. She even mentions Ant-Man's daughter, so they were
Cassie.
like, they're kind of like, they're not like shoving it under the rug. They're like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to make this team. So. And this is kind of something that they have to do fast, because the longer they wait, the older the characters are going to get.
Yeah, especially like Tom. Well, I don't know if they're going to include. I know he's in some. Like Spider-Man is not always in the Young Avengers, but I was going to say he's getting older. Like he can't play like Peter Parker at that young age for that long time. You know.
The only one that would maybe be on it would be Miles, but I don't know if they're even going to do that.
Maybe.
But you were saying how
what do you think the team
Kamala
would
Khan
look
is
like?
supposed to be 16, Joe.
Oh, I thought she was like 14 for some reason.
No, she's 16, which is actually kind of crazy.
What do you think that team would look like? So the guaranteed people is Cassie Lang, Kate Bishop, and Miss Marvel. Who else do you think they would toss on there?
Oh, wait, like that guy, like Isaiah Bradley's like grandson.
Oh yeah, from Falcon.
I was gonna say Billy and Tommy, Wanda's kids.
They're not even like you can't assume that.
But they cast what's his name? They cast Joe Locke as one of the two of them.
No, I know. But,
so I would think that they're gonna, especially because they play like a big role in the Young Avengers in the comics. So I would think that they would include them. But it's a little complicated because technically they don't exist in this universe. So not that any of that really matters.
I feel like the Young Avengers is going to be something like after Secret Wars, when they bring these other people in from like different universes or different realities. Because where would Billy and Tommy, like, how would they join the team? Because they would have to come from a different universe.
Yeah, well, one of the two, I forget which one of them, but one of them is supposed to be in that new Agatha show. That's who Joe Locke is playing. Yes, he's in that show, and he's like an older version of himself. So I guess we'll figure it. Which I don't know when that's supposed to come out, but I guess like they would figure it out then.
Yeah, and then the big post-credit scene, which is like kind of random, but so at the end of the movie, Monica ends up getting lost in a different universe. So the post-credit scene, she wakes up and she sees her mom there, and her mom is like trying to, I guess, nurse her back to health. But when she's like, "Mom, I'm sorry," like, "Mom," and she's like, "What do you mean, Mom?" She doesn't recognize this girl as her daughter. So you're like, all right, what's up? Then all of a sudden, Beast from the X-Men just pulls up and walks in the room, which is like just the most random cameo. Yeah. Like, it was the same actor from the old X-Men movies, but instead of doing the practical makeup, they made like a CGI model for him, which I think looked okay. But I definitely would have preferred the makeup look. I think that the makeup would look a lot better. But yeah, they kind of tease that, like, Beast shows up and he's like, "Oh, it seems like you're here from a different reality," or whatever he says, a different universe. I don't remember. So I guess they tease that they're gonna. Well, first of all, obviously they tease the X-Men. When it zooms out, you see like the huge door, like that X door from the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Is this the first time that they've like officially teased the X-Men, or?
Well, Professor X was in Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Beast also mentions like he's like, "Oh, we got to tell Charles about this or whatever." So they tease Professor X again.
Which I've been watching like a lot of like videos on this and like stuff since the movie came out, which when I asked you when we left the theater if you knew like who she was supposed to be, I found out she's supposed to be this character called Binary. Like that's just like the name of the character, which is apparently like an alternate version of Captain Marvel. So it's basically like the same idea that Maria Rambeau was in Multiverse of Madness, just like this universe's version of Captain Marvel. So like they don't have a Captain Marvel, but they have this character called Binary.
And also, I didn't notice this the first time, but I think on Twitter someone pointed it out, or I forget, maybe I was watching a YouTube video, but Binary actually is wearing both the bangles in that scene.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
So I guess if she has those, technically she can travel through universes, I guess. So that could be a way for them to get back to the main MCU. That could be how they introduce the X-Men. But also we have Deadpool 3 coming up, which is going to have all this multiverse X-Men stuff. We have Wolverine in that confirmed, along with probably a bunch of other X-Men. So,
which really quick, now that you bring up the bands, one thing I wanted to say was that I don't understand why. I think I brought this up to you. At the end of the movie, Kamala has both bands. She's wearing both of them at the very end to, close the portal. And then at the scene with the airplane, Carol is wearing one and she's wearing the other. And I don't understand what the point of that was. I don't know if there's a reasoning behind it, but
maybe to always split them up.
So that I guess that's true. So like no one could have two of them. Yeah. But I just thought it was so weird, like the whole thing of how Kamala was like, oh, these bands like travel through space and time to find me. And then she gives the other one back to Carol, which I thought was very strange. But now I just thought about it now that you mentioned that.
I mean, that's what I thought, at least.
I didn't even notice that, to be honest.
I think I noticed like the second time. No, she doesn't, which I thought was crazy. Maybe because she's so young. And she was like, you probably shouldn't have two of these.
Yeah, I guess. And also she just witnessed what happened when someone tried to use both.
Yeah.
That's true, to always have them separate.
Yeah, I do think that we could talk now about the box office a little bit.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be the last Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah,
because it had the lowest domestic opening
but also
of
like
any
there's
MCU movie.
It's just like there's a lot that goes into it. This is the first MCU movie that came out during the strike. So there was literally like zero promo. And I saw like stats the other day that like as soon as like when Brie Larson went on the Tonight Show, like
wait, I feel like there was another movie that came out during the strike.
Not during the strike, because the strike started like.
Strike, yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of Blue Beetle. Never mind.
Yeah, so like it's just like upsetting to me because like people already have like a vendetta against Captain Marvel to begin with. So like the luck that this had to come out during the strike. No. So like the numbers are just like much low. Like I guarantee that if this had come out not when the strike was happening, I'm not going to say it would have done amazing, but it definitely would not have been the lowest MCU debut ever.
No, I could agree with that, but also like look at Black Widow. That came out during COVID and also was released on Disney Plus the same day, and it still made more than this.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I just feel
either way. I mean,
this movie's had a lot working against it, which is why I knew going into it that this was gonna happen. But just like upsetting, and also it just makes me mad. Like
don't think just makes me mad. At the end of the day, that's how it. Excuse me, sorry. At the end of the day, like that's how it works. Like if people don't want to go see the movie, like they're not gonna like. Yeah, there's stuff that I love that.
Yeah, if you want to talk about luck. We could talk about how lucky the first Captain Marvel was, that it was sandwiched in between Infinity War and Endgame, which were two of the biggest movies of all time. That's why it made over $1 billion.
Yeah.
So I guess they got so much good luck on the first one and some bad luck on the second one.
It also like upsets me only because I love Aman Vellani so much, and she would have loved, like, she's doing interviews now, but like she would have loved to do a press tour. Like she loves like the Marvel Cinematic Universe so much.
But she's gonna be popping up and shit.
I know. It's just like this was like her first movie. She didn't get to do a premiere.
It's not like the characters are not gonna appear in.
I was gonna say, like, I know you said like there probably won't be another Captain Marvel movie, but Captain Marvel's still gonna be in the MCU. Probably not until
Well,
I would
Monica's
say, like,
in another
Secret
universe,
Wars.
so they don't even have to worry about that.
But I would say she's probably not going to pop back up till Secret Wars. Is what I would.
I was gonna
assume.
say though, isn't this the first? This is the first MCU movie that brought in characters that were originally introduced in the TV shows, right?
Well, WandaVision, her kids, if you include them,
But
they were in
weren't.
Multiverse of
kids.
Madness.
Oh,
They were
that's
kid-
true.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good point. But
I'm sorry, I just remembered. That's another person who's going to be on the Young Avengers. America Chavez.
oh yeah,
Forgot
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
she'll be on it too.
Um,
That
yeah,
shit
but how
kinda
do you think?
cool.
How do you
It's
think
actually-
they handled the whole like bringing in a TV show character to a movie?
I thought
Do you
they
think
handled
like
it
the
pretty
general
well.
audience would be confused?
Yeah, no, I feel like we're at the point that they can put together that like superheroes already exist in this world. Like, you know, they don't need to know. Like, it's not like 2008 where like they have to introduce every single superhero and have an origin story. Like the audience at this point can understand that like superheroes just exist.
Yeah, but I also think
Yeah.
that they did a good job in that like intro.
Yeah, they gave you enough
with that
to
little like
understand,
cartoon
yeah.
thing of just like a general
It's
idea
that's
of who
generally
Kamala
what the
Khan
show's
is, you know?
about. Like she's just like a girl in Jersey City that, you know. That's like what the show's about basically.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, unless you guys have anything else to say, I think we could get to the
No.
ratings. I don't know,
Yeah.
Alexandra. This is your last chance. Got anything you want to get off your chest here?
I don't know. I saw it 3 times. I love this movie so much. I think like you have to try and look at not just like certain reviews, because like I see mostly bad reviews, I feel like, but you have to look at reviews from people who are not biased. Like, you know who annoyed me? I don't know if you follow these guys on YouTube. Do you know the two? I think they're called maybe like the Film Rejects or something like that. It's like these 2 guys, and they have a YouTube channel, and they like react and like talk about Marvel movies. And he went on there and was like, "This is the worst Marvel movie ever made." I was like, "Be so serious. This is not the worst Marvel
definitely
movie
not.
ever made by far. Like, there's so many movies that are so much
Well,
worse."
For one, this is definitely better than Ant-Man 3. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And that was the last movie that came out. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that like annoyed me because I
In
was like,
terms of like quality, not well. I mean, I guess quality. Like this is definitely a step up from Ant-Man.
I was gonna say, I do think that like people who are thinking about this logically can see like, which I don't know if we're gonna talk about this next, that like it's improving, because I know people were disappointed with like Ant-Man, and some people were also disappointed with like Multiverse of Madness. So I feel like we're on the improve. I think that I also just think it had a lot to do with the director. I think she did such a good job, so I think that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
But I don't think the MCU is doomed.
yeah, and I don't think you could really blame anyone for the low box office. I think it's mainly the strike, like you said, and also just loss of faith in general from the Marvel brand.
From
It
Marvel
used to,
fans.
yeah, it used to be like back in the day, people would see Marvel and be like, all right, this is guaranteed going to be good. But then you have a couple bad ones, and people are like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to spend $20 to go see this in a movie theater. I'll wait till it comes to streaming. And that's always going to affect the box office. I think the movies that are going to make money are the ones where it's like, you have to see this as soon as possible, like so you don't get spoiled, like the Avengers and things like that. A lot of them, like honestly, if I wasn't that big into Marvel and like didn't care for the MCU, I probably would just be like, all right, I'll just wait for this to come to Disney Plus. Like there was nothing that would draw me to it in a theater, you know, especially when it gets lukewarm reception. Which
Well,
it
I
didn't
also
get.
it didn't get like awful reviews. I honestly expected much worse.
Yeah, I do prefer the first Captain Marvel though. Honestly,
I think that's
know
so
it's-
interesting, but you liked the first one to begin with. I feel like the people who didn't like the first one will like this one better.
Yeah, that's true. But for me, like in my MCU ranking, this is definitely towards the bottom. I don't think
I
it's
agree.
nearly the worst, but it's just so like good. Like it's just good, and that's it. You know, it doesn't like
It's like, to you, it's just like mediocre.
yeah, it doesn't like blow me away in any aspect really. The best part, I guess, was the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I
Um,
just have like such a connection to the characters that I'm automatically like, this is such a good movie.
What did you rate it, Alexander?
I don't want to say my rating yet. You guys go first.
I could go first. I rated it a 3-star, so 6 out of 10.
Okay. Okay.
Just there's not really anything bad about it. It was just like fine. The villain sucked. That was like the worst part about it. But besides that, it's just good. It's a good movie, but it's nothing too special. So it's like middle of the pack in terms of films. So what about you, Joe?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I gave it a 3 stars, so 6 out of 10. It was pretty mid. Villain sucked. Like, you summed it up. Nothing like really that was like jarringly bad about it, but just I don't know. Felt like a fucking filler TV episode.
All right, Alexandra, your turn.
So I gave it like a 4 out of 5, which more like an 8.5 out of 10. Which I honestly would, if I hadn't talked to the two of you, I feel like I would have given it just like a 10 out of 10 because I'm such an easy critic because I just like love the movie so much. Yeah. But for me, I feel like this is gonna be more of like a comfort movie. Like I could go back and watch this so many times. Like clearly because I've seen it 3 times already. I feel like this will be a movie that like I'll come back to watch a lot, which is what I did with the like Captain Marvel movie, which just really quick to say, I liked that this was fun because there's not a lot of Marvel movies that I can go back to watch for a sense of comfort because a lot of the Marvel movies are just like really, especially recently, like Endgame and like Infinity War are sad at least at some point.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was nice to have a movie that was like lighthearted and fun. Like I feel like I could find myself going back to watch this because it's not like so depressing,
Yeah. So you don't have to change your rating based on us. If you think it's a 10, it's a 10. Like
it's a 10 out of 10 in my heart, but in reality, it's probably like an 8 out of 10.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, yeah.
All right, so yeah, we'll see. I mean, next year there's only one MCU movie coming out, so
that's crazy.
Marvel's gonna have to sort of recalibrate for a second and figure out what they're gonna do.
He has to figure out. Kevin Feige, like, think about all of the post-credit scenes things that have been teased. You had Blade teased, that lady, I forget her name, at the end of Doctor Strange. What's her name?
Yeah.
Yes, her.
Well, I mean, like, what are they?
But I feel like they just have all of these things that they're teasing. Oh, Venom at the end of No Way Home. That's another thing that he's supposed to just. I
agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
But like Spider-Man 4 hasn't come out yet. Blade hasn't come out yet.
I know. It's just like I feel like Kevin Feige just keeps like adding these like post-credit scenes to tease things. But now we have like so many. Oh, Harry Styles as that character. Like when is that ever gonna come back? Like
probably in like they're gonna have to do something with Eternals too.
Yeah, I feel like he's just adding so much right now that it's like too much. Like he has to figure out where all these things are gonna go because.
Yeah, I agree. I'm actually rewatching the MCU from the jump with my girlfriend because I want to like show her all of it, and I also just want to rewatch everything because a lot of them I haven't seen in a long time. Yeah. And if you notice in the original movies, like the post-credit scenes directly tease the next movie.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool because you're like, all right, this is what's coming next. Now, if it's like, all right, we see Beast in this movie, for example, when is that gonna get followed up on? When are we going to get the answer to that? Because, like you said, like Eternals, we see Harry Styles. When are we getting the follow up to that? There's all these loose threads that it just feels so disconnected. When if you look at the original MCU, everything is connected, one film to the next, and those were the movies that people loved the most compared to now when it's not as well received. So, but yeah, I do want to move on though, just because. I think we spent a decent amount of time on that.
Yeah.
All right, so for those of you who are new listening, we have a movie news section of the podcast where we talk about, some trailers, some announcements, whatever the case may be, that happened within the past 2 weeks. So we actually have a lot of trailers, and I think part of that is due to the actor strike ending, which we'll talk about a little more later.
Yeah.
But so one of the first trailers is we got our first look at Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which is coming to us next year. I think next March, is it?
No, I think it's May.
Or May. It's directed by Wes Ball, and it stars... I forget the kid's name, but he played like the bully in It Chapter 1. And yeah, the movie looks just as great as the Planet of the Apes trilogy from a couple years ago, the one that Matt Reeves did. And it is connected. It takes place like years after. I don't think it says much about the story really, but I think just based on the visuals, it really looks fantastic.
Yeah. It looks like an epic, like a you know. Honestly, like I was thinking about this. When's the last time there's been like a big, like hyped up release in May that wasn't like a superhero movie? That people were like, remember like when we were younger and like go to the movies and like May there would be like a craziest like Pirates of the Caribbean were coming out, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
nowadays, it is all superheroes.
It's just this is the first time in a while. And I don't know if you saw, like, the trailer had, didn't it, like, it was, like, one of Disney's most viewed trailers or something like that.
It's a Disney movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, because technically it's 20th Century Fox.
Century Fox, but Disney owns it now.
Yeah. Have you seen the other Apes movies, Alexandra, or no?
So, I don't remember, but honestly, I'm not a fan of the whole concept. I just don't, which I guess for you guys, it's probably more of, like, I don't know, like, I guess cinematography. Like, it looks like a good film. It looks like it's going to be visually pleasing. But the whole idea, like, I even remember I never wanted to watch the original Planet of the Apes. Because, like, the concept, like, making an entire film franchise off this like, concept of, like, apes taking over the world. I don't know. I didn't like it, but...
It's kind of, like, such a masculine, like, idea. Just, like...
Maybe it's because I want to be a vet.
Guys are, like, gorillas. Like,
but I was saying, you have to like if you're a vet, honestly, you probably appreciate it because you see.
I think that's why I don't like it is because like the concept to me seems so stupid.
We have to watch.
Like I want to be a veterinarian. I work with wildlife.
We have to watch like what like it doesn't just like you have to watch the movie. Like
I know. I don't know if I ever saw the original. I don't remember.
Like they don't just randomly start doing like.
I forget. There's like
there's a reason why. Yeah.
But maybe I'll change my mind if I like watch.
Like it's not like they just evolve and like on the spot. You know what I mean?
The original is like them. Like I feel like I remember them. Like it's like when they first start to like evolve or whatever. Like they're like fighting with people, right?
That's the one with James. Have you seen the one with James Franco or no?
That's the original one. That's what is that, man?
That's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And when you're saying original, like we're not talking about
about the original, yeah.
We're talking about the ones from like within the past 15 years.
Decade, yeah.
So
yeah,
but I think that time got so much praise for how great the effects look, and I think it's still to this like it holds up so well. The trailer, like I couldn't get over how great it looks. With the monkeys they're like talking to each other, and it just looks like I'm not questioning.
It doesn't look. Yeah, it looks.
Which honestly, I'm curious if they use animals at all in the filming, or if it's just completely CGI.
No, it's all CGI.
Which I think is.
They wear like mocap suits.
Yeah.
No, they actually they taught the gorillas how to like do that. Yeah, they taught Caesar how to. No, I know what you're saying. I'm sure they had gorillas like on set for some parts of it.
No,
nah, dude.
I mean, I will hope not, because there's a lot of like
a gorilla, dude. Like. No way.
Yeah, because it might actually kill him. On set,
there's like a lot of issues with
and like
animal
it's not like
on sets
it's not even like they need like it's the whole movie CGI, so it's not even like they need a gorilla. They could have like a.
It's like. And like they move, like they move so much like humans. Yeah. Like, how are they going to direct a gorilla to do that? You know,
wave a banana.
They have to teach that. They have to like teach. I saw something that they have to learn how to like walk like apes.
Yeah, they have to teach the actors how to walk around.
Because like when in the well, I feel like in this they're very like human like in this, so like it's not but they still have like kind of similar movements.
I feel like maybe in like the original ones they were using apes at some point.
When they run around,
no, they wore
suits. Like all fours and stuff. Yeah, in like the original they had like makeup and suits. Yeah,
that's crazy.
But yeah, it looks really. This is quickly becoming like one of my most anticipated of next year.
Yeah, especially because there's so much.
Guys, by the hell, oh my god!
There's not a lot coming out next year.
Really?
I mean, it does look. That's not to discredit the movie. It does look good, but
I just would not think that you have such an interest in the Planet of the Apes.
Honestly, I think as a vet, I think as a vet, you'd probably appreciate it because you'll like empathize with them and understand why
why they're doing it. Yeah. Okay, maybe I'll have to watch it.
I feel like that's kind of the point. Like, and then you see, like I don't want to like spoil the whole thing, but just watch. It's good. Just watch it.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Then there was the next trailer was another Marvel thing, and it's the Echo TV show, which was probably like one of my most least, or not one of my most, but one of my least anticipated Marvel things coming up. It follows the character of Echo, who was introduced in the Hawkeye show. And with everything going on with Marvel right now, it's just like, this is completely unnecessary. But the trailer definitely changed my mind. For one, Kingpin seems to be a huge focus in it.
He seems like the Netflix. He seems back to the Netflix Kingpin and not like the Hawkeye Kingpin.
Yeah. Daredevil's going to be in it, and it's the first mature MCU content that we're getting.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
I think it works for a lot of reasons. One, it fits the vibe of the show better and the character, those like street level characters. And two, it shows that Marvel is like, okay, clearly like we have to do something different because fans are getting annoyed, and it shows that they're willing to do something different. You know? So
I thought the trailer looked great. I mean, I was like looking forward to this in some capacity because I knew that like Matt Murdock would be in it, so I was looking forward to that. Even though I'm a little nervous as to like how they're gonna treat his character. Just considering like he technically, which I don't even know if you know the answer to this, he technically has like he has like 4 or 5 seasons in a different show that I don't know if they're treating as canon to the MCU or not. But I was like scared as to like how they're gonna treat him in the show, but it looks really good, and I like that it looks like darker, I guess. So I think that it'll be a good show.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like anything we've seen in the MCU thus far. It looks more like the Netflix shows, like the Daredevil.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched any of those, Alexandra.
Yeah, I watched Daredevil.
Yeah, and those are pretty universally loved. So
yeah, it's almost like when they were trying to like market Multiverse of Madness as like a horror like movie, and it like didn't live up. But I feel like this will. Like I feel like this will be what they're trying to make it out to be.
Yeah, and I might as well just throw this in now. We also found out recently that Blade is going to be rated R.
Yeah.
Which thank God, really, because I love those original Blade movies so much, and if they weren't rated R, if they had to stick to like a PG-13, it just would be so much missed potential.
They go a Blade with like no blood. It's just like
yeah.
You know what I mean?
That would like not be possible.
Not
it would be such a bad. It would be such a bad movie.
It wouldn't make any sense. Yeah. But yeah, the Echo trailer is short. It doesn't like really explain much. But they said that I think it's 5 episodes and they all drop on the same day. So they're gonna try like a binge model instead of a weekly release.
That's interesting.
I don't like. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I prefer weekly releases as well because it builds up hype for the show.
That's true.
And also, you're more likely to get spoiled because, like, not all of us have the time to, watch 5 hours of content in a row.
That's very true. Yeah, because like Netflix does that. Like they drop everything at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it looks cool. We'll definitely talk about it whenever it drops. I think it's a January something.
So it's soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, What If Season 2 is going to release before the end of this year? They said holiday.
Christmas time.
I don't even know if I watched the original. I think I watched some of it.
Yeah, I was telling Joe, I actually really like What If. Even though it's like animated and it's not really. I mean, it is connected to the MCU, but not really that much to the greater story.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it, so I'm actually excited for Season 2.
That's good. I don't know. I'm not like. I watched Season 1. I wasn't the biggest fan. I thought it was mid. I didn't like the animation style either.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
Which, really quick, I have a question for you guys now that we're talking about like Disney Plus shows. I don't know if you ever talked about this or if you're going to. Are you guys going to watch the Percy Jackson series that's going to be on Disney Plus?
Probably.
I probably won't just because I've never really had any interest in Percy Jackson in general. I never read the books. I never watched the movies, so
because they're like redoing it like completely, which I just think it's interesting. Like they have like 3 original movies that they never finished the series, and they're just like erasing it all and restarting.
Are you
Well,
gonna
I
watch
think
it?
this is
Yeah, I read the books.
this is supposed to be more accurate to the books.
Yeah,
apparently.
because like the original, like in the book, he's supposed to be like a 13-year-old kid, and he was played by Logan Lerman, who like at the time was like much older. So he's. Did you guys watch that movie? I forget the name of it with Ryan Reynolds, and he like runs into like his younger self.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The
I didn't
kid in
watch
that
it,
movie,
but I know.
the little kid in that movie, is
Yeah,
playing Percy
yeah.
Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
people
think
think he's gonna be in Deadpool 3 also.
he's he's so funny. I watched like his interviews and stuff. He's so funny.
He was good in that movie. And then I saw that there's like an actor they want to cast to play. Actually, we could talk about this next. Is they want him to play Link in the Zelda movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Joe, you could talk about that Zelda movie a little bit if you want.
Yeah, so Nintendo announced that they're going to be moving forward with a live-action Legend of Zelda movie. I think Sony is producing it, right?
Yeah. And they got Wes Ball, who's doing the Planet of the Apes.
The Apes, yeah.
Oh wow.
He's directing.
What's his name is producing Avia. What's his name?
Avi Arad or something.
Yeah.
He made like the original Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
He's like not really
Good.
well loved
Yeah.
in Hollywood, so it's kind of weird that he got
Yeah,
this
there's
movie,
some shaky
but-
people involved in the live action, so I don't really know. Like people aren't like the people behind behind the scenes aren't don't really have a lot of well received movies, so I feel like people are kind of not looking forward to this. Like I feel like the discourse of it is like why they should have just done an animated one.
Yeah, animated would have made more sense to me, especially after the success of the Mario movie.
Yeah,
I don't really have any hype for this. I can't even lie.
The only thing I saw was people saying that they want Hunter Schafer to be
to play Zelda.
Yeah, to play Zelda.
Yeah, I know.
She does kinda look like-
she looks
yeah.
identical. Like I do. She's a good actress too. I want her to play. Like that would be someone I would be.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen her in anything, but I'm
You
actually
should
seeing.
watch. Yeah,
She's
the
gonna be in the
Games.
Hunger Games thing.
I'm
I've
seeing
only
it
really
tomorrow
seen her in-
night. The new Hunger Games.
I've seen her in Euphoria, really, and that's it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I guess we're gonna have to wait to get a first look, but I just feel like
Yeah.
it's not really gonna work in live action.
No, I can. It's not like too out there.
I also don't really know much about the Zelda lore, to be honest.
Honestly, neither do I.
Did you play the Breath of the Wild?
I started it. I still never finished. It's mad. Like I don't know. I'm not really. I don't know. I tried. I'm not really into it with the Zelda games for some reason.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be as successful as Mario, but we'll
Definitely
see.
not.
It seems at least Nintendo is like willing to work with other studios now. Usually they're very protective of their
Oh, I
properties.
figured. Sony's a Japanese-based company, so it makes
Yeah.
sense.
That's true. I guess if they're going to collab with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, yeah.
Actually,
and
now
then-
that I think about it, this is kind of crazy because that's like their direct competitor too, the PlayStation.
Oh yeah, no, I forgot. Yeah, I mentioned that. I don't know if I mentioned that to you the other day, Joe, but
No, I didn't. You didn't tell me that. But I was just thinking about that now.
Yeah,
It is
'cause
weird.
it is a little weird. But I guess
Yeah.
movie and video
Yeah, it's
game
like different
things
departments.
different.
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
There was a couple other trailers quickly. There was one for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, which is the sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah.
This one, I don't know if you guys have any interest, but I just wanted to talk about it quickly because I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife and I really liked it.
I still haven't seen it.
It's a legacy sequel, so it does this new thing where they have these new Ghostbusters, and then at the end, Bill Murray and
Mhm.
the other guys come back, and they're like how legacy sequels usually go.
Yeah.
But this movie, the one thing I didn't like about Afterlife is that the original Ghostbusters come in like the last 10 minutes, and like there was no point to even put them in the film at that point.
Yeah.
It was just fan service.
Yeah.
But this one, it seems like they're in the trailers. They're going to be part of the main story, which I like. I really like the Ghostbusters in general.
Yeah.
I think that the villain looked really cool in
It's
this
like
one.
what is it, like an ice fucking?
Yeah, it's like some weird ice demon thing.
The one thing I don't know. I feel like remember the original Ghostbusters movies were like kind of campy, like
I don't know if
comedy
I ever
kind of.
saw the original.
Like I feel like these are turning into like not superhero movies, but like that kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like it feels like very like. I don't want like a
like
Marvel,
franchisey.
yeah,
kind of.
yeah. Not that that's bad. Like I'm sure the movies are still good, but like I don't know. I mean, it's a legacy sequel, so it's supposed to like evolve and you know.
Yeah, I thought Paul Rudd was great in the first one too, and he looks like he's gonna be fun in this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would recommend you guys to watch that Ghostbusters Afterlife one. So I think you would end up liking this movie too.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, then there was the trailer for Inside Out 2, which is releasing next year. And I think this makes sense for them to have a sequel because you're like, all right, you can introduce these new emotions and it's going to be, going through puberty.
I'm actually really looking forward to that. I don't know if you guys liked the first Inside Out, but I loved it.
I haven't seen it.
It was just so good. It was so like cute and heartwarming, and I think that they did such a good job. So I'm looking forward to this next one.
Yeah, they have Maya Hawke playing Anxiety.
Yeah, I like Maya Hawke.
I wonder what other emotions they're gonna have.
I was gonna say that. I wonder what the other emotions will be because they already have like fear, anger, disgust, happy. Sad.
What else comes with puberty?
I would think anxiety, and I don't know what else.
I don't even gotta say it because this is a family-friendly podcast, but we all know what else is gonna.
They can't have that emotion on a Disney movie.
I mean,
they can't.
I feel like they might have like a tease of that or something, or like
they have to call it something else.
Like love.
Oh yeah,
like she's gonna have like a crush or something.
Yeah. The emotion of love. When is it coming out? Do you remember, Matt?
July, I think.
Yeah, sometime. I think next summer or something. I don't know. Definitely next year. So, Pixar in general, I think they're in like a decent state. Their last couple films, I don't think were that great, so they're doing what they do best and making sequels that no one asked for. Even though, like I said, Inside Out, it makes sense for a sequel. So okay, But like they also said they're going to do Toy Story 5, which is like they should have ended it at 3.
Why are they going to do Toy Story 5?
Like the other ones, I've like Frozen 3, fine, Zootopia 2, like that. Those make sense. Like Inside Out 2. Like Toy Story, like the story ended. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, from like it's really just a teaser trailer. It doesn't show much, but I think the movie definitely has potential. Joe, you should watch it.
Yeah.
I've seen the first one.
I think all Pixar I've seen besides the only ones I'm missing at this point is like Cars 3 and Brave. I think everything else I've seen.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, anyways, let's see. I think we had one more trailer. Yeah, so Joe, I think you could take over on this one really because you know the most about it. But we had a trailer for the live action Avatar series.
So the same people that did the live action One Piece are also producing the live action Avatar movie, and it looks like pretty solid. I mean, the cast all looks good. The costumes are pretty accurate. I mean, we'll just see how the show actually turns out. I mean, it's a little bit different though, because One Piece, like, there's 1,000 fucking episodes, so like, they don't have to worry about running out of material. For this, like, for season 1, I forgot. I think it's like 20 something episodes, but like, they may have to like add stuff in or like add like character arcs and stuff to people just to kind of like take up space in the show. So we'll see how they,
I think the cast looks great.
Yeah,
definitely looks better than the movie,
the original,
that we reviewed.
But the biggest problem with the movie is like the story's so rushed. Like, because if you know the actual story, they try to cram like it's over like 20 something episodes. You can't cram it into like an hour and a half. Yeah, so it makes sense to be it was an animated TV show, not an animated movie.
Yeah. Alexander, I'm assuming you have no comments here.
I mean, I watched the trailer. Like the trailer looks fine, but I never watched the original Avatar, so I don't see myself watching this movie.
Yeah. Well, it is actually a TV series. Actually.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
Joe, I thought you said movie.
No, TV show.
Oh, okay.
No, but either way, I doubt you're
So I'm
gonna
definitely
watch
not gonna watch it then.
it. Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna watch it either. I never ended up watching One Piece. Joe, but you said
I
it was
do
good,
want to
right?
watch that, even though I
Mm.
never saw the thing. I do want to watch that actually.
Man, you watched the first episode with me, right?
Yeah. But
You actually said you said it was solid, huh?
yeah, it was solid. I have a feeling this is gonna be good. I think it's gonna be well received.
Yeah.
But from the trailer, I mean, it's basically what you'd expect, I guess.
That's two hitters for Netflix. I mean, because one live action One Piece is doing like that's like looks like it's gonna be another like kind of
doing well.
Stranger Things like, but in terms like it'll get multiple seasons, and I feel like the only reason it will is because they just have so much like there's so much material to use. Like they're never gonna run out essentially. So
Yeah.
as long as people keep watching, they'll just keep making them.
All right. I think that was our last trailer, but we have a couple other things. The big one is the actor strike ended, which I mentioned
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
Thank God, honestly.
No.
Yeah.
Like, thank God that one, the actors are getting compensated fairly for their work, and the big thing is their likeness with AI. And also, thank God that they can start filming shit again because everything has been getting delayed. And now, like,
Yeah.
the 2024 slate kind of sucks because of the strike.
Yeah, I know. There's nothing coming out. 2025 is gonna be sick though.
Yeah. I think they agreed on terms about the big thing that was holding it up was that the studios basically wanted to make it so that they could scan your likeness, pay you once to scan it, and then using AI, like, insert your likeness into projects forever.
That's literally crazy.
Without paying you.
Oh my God.
So obviously that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. It's like,
but they were really fighting for it.
They wound up like not doing it, right?
Yeah, now I think they still can get scanned, but if they want to use them, like every project they put them in for the future, they have to get paid for everyone. Because the thing about AI is, like, you can try to run from it and push it away as much as you can, but it is coming. Like, it's gonna be a thing. So you might as well be able to make money from it instead of being like, no. Because that's just the future. Like, that's the future of Hollywood.
If just prevent it from getting in.
I know. But hopefully, like, they keep it like they don't let it take over completely, you know?
Yeah, I doubt it ever will, but depends how good it gets. You know? There's a lot of greedy bastards in Hollywood that just don't care and would be willing, if they could, to make a movie completely in AI. Like, obviously it's not as refined yet, but it'll come a day when it will be.
Yeah.
So yeah, once the strike ended, there was a couple things announced. One was actually pretty funny. They're doing an Elon Musk biopic directed by Darren Aronofsky.
That is literally the craziest thing I've ever heard.
I honestly would not even care to watch.
I'm not watching that.
Yeah, but Darren Aronofsky's directing it, so I'm 100% watching.
Yeah, he's
definitely gonna make it like, I don't know. There's gonna be some type of twist on it.
He's such like a weird director to do it. If you look at his filmography,
Yeah.
he has like Mother, Black Swan,
Whale.
What's the one with Jared Leto where he's like a drug addict?
Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, Requiem for a Dream. And then it's gonna just be like Elon Musk biopic.
Who's gonna play him? I don't know yet.
Nah.
Yeah, that's the big question. Yeah. Elon Musk fan cast. I would say probably Chris Pratt.
Oh
is
my!
Probably the best choice.
Of course he would do it.
Tom Holland, Musk.
No, if Tom Holland played Elon Musk, I would be so upset.
Or maybe The Rock.
Yeah,
this is crazy.
The Rock as Musk. I think it's like too early in Elon Musk's life to do a biopic. I feel like he's gonna
It
do some more
is, yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
shit that he didn't even like do his Neuralink thing yet, which is supposed to be in testing phases right now. They should at least waited till that was a thing.
Didn't
But
like
you
a bunch
got-
of the monkeys like die and shit when they did that?
I don't know. Apparently, they're looking for like humans to that are willing to
There's got to
To
be
do
people
it.
that like.
that are just down bad.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I would consider doing it if they were gonna give me like millions and millions of dollars and I never had to work again. I might consider it.
Yeah, if
You know
put
what
it
the
that
Neuralink
way.
thing is, Alexandra, or no?
I heard a little bit about it, but I try not to read too much into it because it would freak
Yeah.
me out.
It's like they basically put a chip into your brain that like alters your mind, kind of, and it's kind of
It's
like
literally crazy.
like Google glasses or whatever, where like you put
Oh,
on the
yeah.
glasses and you like it's like that, except like you don't have to wear
your
anything.
head?
It's like in your
That's-
head, yeah.
That's crazy.
So you could think like, Alexa, buy me potato chips on Amazon, and it'll just do it.
What if you
Like-
accidentally think something that you don't want?
I don't know. Then Alexa, kill the president. Like,
yeah,
something like
exactly.
that. I don't know. It is very dystopian. That
Yeah,
I
it's
feel like would
freaky.
make for a good movie. Yeah,
Maybe there's, like, a
I think it's
twist
too
on it.
early. I think it's too early for Elon.
He's
I
not
feel
even that old.
Yeah, they should
What
have
is it,
waited.
like 40, 50?
Yeah.
They should have waited till he died, like in the future. But
No, I know.
very interesting director choice. So, then the
Yeah.
last bit of news that I want to talk about is that just the other day it was announced by Lionsgate that John Wick 5 is currently being written. And for those of you who don't know, John Wick tragically gets murdered in John Wick 4.
Yeah.
So there's a couple ways they could go with this. What do you think they're gonna do, Joe?
I think it's either gonna be. I hope it is that it's like its own. It's a new it's a different character. Like it's just like a different, like essentially John Wick. Maybe they just call this person a John Wick because he's like him or something. Or they could. I mean, you could say your idea.
Yeah,
like
I was
your
gonna.
own.
I had a crazy idea. Well,
Yeah.
I remember seeing it somewhere along like a while ago, and I couldn't find where
it
I
was from.
like saw it, but
Yeah.
it's not my original idea. I'll just say it. But I think what they could do with it is imagine John Wick 4. He actually does die, and he gets like sent to hell for whatever reason. And they just go all out, and they're like, "All right, John Wick is in hell, and he has to and he gets all his guns and has to fight his way out and fight all these demons." And it's like the same action that it is in the franchise. If they just embraced like a wacky, crazy
Yeah.
story like that, I think it
They
could
could
work.
even
because
they could even bring back old like people from the older movies that they could fight again.
I think it would just work with how goofy the franchise is. Also,
Think
like
about
the shit that happens doesn't make sense really.
Yeah.
Like he falls off buildings and survives. So
and like
I've never seen any of these movies.
they're
Yeah,
just
they're
like
very-
they're action movies. I mean, they're enjoyable. I love them.
they're very overly
Like
masculine
tongue in cheek, yeah.
action. So I don't know if you would enjoy them.
Mm.
But they could just, what I think they're most likely going to do is be like, oh, he didn't actually die, which I think would be stupid.
But yeah,
But they could also do a prequel, maybe like some other. They
Yeah,
could
I
do
wouldn't mind
a
a
John
prequel.
Wick maybe before he retired the first time. Because if you remember in the first movie, he retires and comes out of retirement after his dog gets killed.
yeah.
So they-
I would
they
much. I'd rather them do that, honestly.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I'm just gonna say, like, Lionsgate, if you're listening,
Yeah,
use my pitch, bro. You didn't even have to give me credit, but I'll know. I'll leave it as a mutual respect kind of
You
thing.
don't want any credit? What if they?
yeah. I was just saying, probably pay you, dude.
Nah, that's all right. I'd rather have my art out in the world than take the bread. You know, you wouldn't understand. But yeah, Alexandra, honestly, I don't even know if you would like John Wick.
I probably won't ever watch those movies.
But yeah, you know what movies you do watch though?
What?
Musicals.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our next
What a
awesome
good
topic.
transition.
So last week was Joe's turn to recommend a list. So he recommended, after some help from my insight, the top 10 movie musicals. I think it's a great one for Alexandra to
Yes.
break down with us.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited to go through my list. I think we're all going to have pretty different lists. So, Alexandra, how we do these is like, we'll go one at a time. So, Joe, we'll just do it in reverse age order, I guess. So, Joe will go first.
Reverse.
go
Okay, so you go
So,
first.
he'll say his 10, I'll say my 10. And then
Okay,
you'll say your
okay.
10. Then he'll say his 9.
Okay.
And so on and so forth. So, Joe, you could go ahead and start it off.
All right. So my number 10 is the original Little Mermaid. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of maybe from my childhood, but it kind of has like a soft spot.
It's not what I expected. Interesting.
I mean, there's good music in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going. Yeah. It's also I'm taking like the music into consideration more than like the quality of the movie.
Yeah. All right. For me, my number 10, I had the movie Grease, which probably is pretty high for some people, or low, I guess. But yeah, Grease has like, it has some iconic songs, and the movie itself is fine. I was really annoyed by the ending of the movie and what they did with the Sandy character.
Yeah, she's like,
because the whole movie
the
whole movie she's like, oh, I don't want to change to be with you, and like I'm not gonna change to be with a guy. And then she just like, by the end of the movie, she's wearing a leather jacket and like smoking a cigarette and like changes completely for the guy.
Yeah.
So I just I didn't really like that part. But they had like Grease Lightning and like, I don't know, they have a bunch of iconic songs in there. So yeah, that was my 10.
Okay. My number 10 was The Wizard of Oz, which I rewatched not that long ago. And honestly, the reason why it's number 10 is mostly because when I rewatched it, I realized that the reason why I like block it out of my head is because I have a fear of tornadoes, and I think it stemmed from that movie. If I remember, honestly think that's why I'm so scared of tornadoes. Because I think I must have watched that when I was younger, and it like traumatized me. And also because like it's like a wholesome movie, but also it's kind of scary. I don't know when the last time you watched The Wizard of Oz was, but it's kind of freaky. So, like, it's a good movie. Like, there are certain songs that, like, of course, I'm like, wow, like, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, obviously an incredible song. But then, like, there's just some things about it that, like, freak me out a little. So, that's why I put it at number 10.
Yeah, it's definitely a freaky movie. But it is an iconic musical. It also inspired Wicked, which is like such a huge musical, and it's going to be made into a movie soon.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. That trailer is coming out soon. Actually, I think it's coming out today.
Yeah,
at some point.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's coming out today.
What is even the story about that? Is like the Green Witch is like misunderstood or something?
It's supposed to be like the story like before the Wizard of Oz, like what happened leading up to the Wizard of Oz. So like originally, like the two of them are friends. And then
you're right.
Like the whole story happens, but I think I don't know how I feel about that because they're splitting it into 2 movies, which if you've seen the Broadway show, to split it into 2 movies, in my opinion, is a little bit strange.
Well, the Broadway show is what, 4 hours long?
No, it's like 2. It's maybe like close to 3 hours with an intermission. But like when you see a Broadway show, like
it was just the intermission.
I guess that's where they'll split it. But the director, like I forget who it is, but he was like, "There's too much, and we can't fit it into like."
Yeah, it's like John Chu or something.
Yes, it's him. And so he was like, "We decided to split it into 2 movies." So we'll see. I think that trailer comes out today at some point.
Yeah. All right, Joe, give us your number 9, would you?
Number 9, I have the original Willy Wonka.
Really?
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Oh my god!
Well,
I did. First of all, I wouldn't even consider that really a musical.
No, it is. It is.
No, it is.
I know. I guess. Yeah.
I watched it recently, actually, because I wanted to prepare myself for Wonka coming out.
Yeah. Is he gonna sing in it too?
I think so.
Huh.
You got, the Oompa Loompa song that goes hard. There's another like really good song in that's famous. I forget what it is.
The one about the imagination, it's like come with me and you'll see.
Oh yeah.
What's the song called?
Is it called Pure Imagination? Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't include that on my list, but looking back, maybe I should have, to be honest.
Yeah.
But all right, yeah, my number 9 I'm not going to talk about it. I'll just say it. I had High School Musical. I'll save my discussion for that till the end when we talk about it, so.
Okay. My number 9 was The Greatest Showman, which was originally higher, but after, like, the more I thought about it, I moved it to be lower. It's a great, like, movie. I mean, it's a great movie musical, and, like, the songs are great, and also I love Zendaya. She's in that, and she was great.
Zac Efron in it, too.
Yeah, he's in it, too. They have, like, this, like, great duet. And, like, I tried to think about how often I listen to these soundtracks. That's also, like, was another way that I rated them, but
yeah,
it was good. Movie. I just think that my top 8 were I like more, so...
Yeah, I think the 10 that I put on here I like more than that also, but that is still a really good one. It's like on the fringe of my list. So, all right, Joe, give us
my
your 8.
Number 8. I had Aladdin, which I actually recently rewatched, and I remember, like, I don't know, I think it's so much better than The Little Mermaid. I don't know why, like the music, like the songs, like I don't know, I just enjoyed it a lot better. The story was better in my opinion.
Yeah, what songs are famous in that one?
In Aladdin, A Whole New World.
A Whole New World.
Oh, yeah.
From Like Me.
What's Prince Ali? Isn't it?
That's the name of the song, Prince Ali.
All right. That was 8, you said?
Yeah, that was 8.
All right. Now I'm going to get into some Broadway territory for my number 8.
We couldn't include like actual Broadway.
No,
I didn't.
No, it's not an actual Broadway show. But my number 8 is the movie Rent.
Wow.
From 2005, directed by Chris Columbus. So it is a movie version of the musical Rent. I don't know. I really enjoyed the characters. I enjoy the story, although I haven't watched it in a while, so I'm forgetting. I know it has some to do with like the HIV and AIDS, like kind of epidemic. And I actually watched it after watching Tick, Tick, Boom, which I think is probably on our list as well, like later on, because that movie is about the guy who made Rent. So yeah, I mean, I enjoy the music. I know there's a couple really famous songs. I can't think of them now off the top of my head, but I remember enjoying the music and enjoying the story and the film itself. So it follows like a lot of different characters, and it balances, I think, their relationships and struggles pretty well.
It's a great musical, Rent. It's a classic.
Okay.
All right. My number 8 was Frozen 2, which this was very controversial when I talked to my friends about it, because Frozen is not on my list in my top 10, but Frozen 2 is number 8. And
that's blasphemy.
I know. I don't know.
I still haven't seen the second one.
Frozen 2, I just thought was like just incredible. And like I know that the first one is iconic because like Let It Go and
it was good.
Like,
I like the first.
It was good, but like the second one for me was like so much better. I don't know, and I think like my favorite song is Show Yourself, which is that song when like Elsa is in the like finding herself to be the fifth spirit and whatever. So
I've never seen Frozen 2 either. To be honest.
Oh really? Oh my god, you should watch it. And also, like, again, I remember listening to the soundtrack, like, every day when I used to drive to school. I think this came out my senior year of high school. So, I used to play it.
You're saying like, that beats Do You Want to Build a Snowman? Like, come on now. Let's be serious for a second. I don't know,
like, it didn't hit... Okay, also, like, to preface, my top 10 is top 10 in my heart, like, emotionally. I have emotional attachments to a lot of these movies. So I think that's why I rank them the way I do. You'll see. Just wait till we get to the top of my list. You're going to say that these are crazy.
All right. Listen, I've never seen Frozen 2, so I'll respect it until I see it.
All right.
All right, Joe, you're up. 7.
7, I had Grease. Yeah, I think it's so overrated. Like, its songs are really good, but again, like you said, like, she just becomes a fucking asshole. Like at the end, like she becomes everything she's not doesn't want to. You know, you summed it up.
Yeah. All right. For number 7 for me, I don't know if this really counts as a musical, but I'm gonna count it, and it is the film Yesterday, directed by Danny Boyle. I think it's very
Came out
underrated.
recently.
It's the one where
Everyone
it's everyone.
forgets the Beatles songs.
Yeah, it sounds kind of stupid, but
Really?
I really liked it. I like the music because it's just the Beatles, and I like the story. It's a rom-com. I like Lily James a lot, and yeah, I think it's a very underrated
Is that
film.
technically
I mean, it's not technically a musical. Like, it's not
yeah.
like
I'll give
people
it
just.
to you.
It's not like people just break out into song and dance like for no reason.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fair.
you know, but I don't know. It's a very music-centric movie, and I don't care. I'm putting it on my list because I like it. And Joe, you should watch it. Oxen, have you seen it or no?
I haven't. I've heard
Yeah,
of it. I remember
you
seeing
should.
trailers for it.
Yeah.
It's very underrated. So, there's my 7.
Well, ironically, my 7 was also Grease. So,
Wow.
yeah, I like Grease. It's fine. It's a good movie, but it's nothing crazy. But again, like, I like it, but honestly, I would almost switch Frozen 2 and Grease. I like Frozen 2 better. But I put Grease on there because, like, theoretically, it's probably a better film than Frozen 2. So, yeah.
I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, for number 7, I had because I know there's a lot of different iterations.
6.
Oh, 6. I'm sorry. 6. There's a lot of different iterations. I put the Phantom of the Opera.
Wow.
I know
you guys have interesting ones.
I know that I really really like the play, and what's his man? Somebody like pretty well known plays him in the one of the more recent movies.
Is it Robert Englund?
No.
Because I know Robert Englund played him at one point.
Oh,
For those of
Gerard
you-
Butler.
Oh,
Which I don't know why I didn't like. Because all the shit he's in, like he's all in like usually like big action movies. Like I didn't expect him to be in like a lead in a musical.
yeah. He's actually in a lot of rom-coms too, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know you've seen the actual musical, right?
Yeah.
Is the music like notable? Would I know any of
I-
it? you
Well,
think?
it's
that
different.
Like, opening
It's like
thing, he would know. The
What?
like iconic, like when they lift the
oh
chandelier.
yeah.
If you
You'll
heard
probably
that,
know
you
like
would
the
know
opening.
it. Yeah.
like- but like the like
Interesting.
it's I don't know. It's different than like
which version? Which movie though? Which one?
the Joel Schumacher one.
You've seen it or no?
Yeah. I watched it before I saw the show.
Oh. Yeah, I've seen like the original one, but it's silent, so it's not
Yeah.
really can't really be a musical, I guess. But all right, I guess I could give my number 6, and this is one that when I originally watched it, it like caught me off guard with how much I loved it, and that is a semi-recent movie, In the Heights, which came out a couple years ago.
Yeah,
that
is a good movie.
This was like a COVID movie, I think. It came out like to HBO Max during the COVID era.
Yeah.
And it had some great performances by the 4 leads, who were Anthony Ramos, who is now becoming big in Hollywood. He was just in the
And
new
he was
Transformers
also
movie.
in Hamilton, man. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, no, I knew that. Yeah. Corey Hawkins, who is also he's been big though. He's a great actor, and he does a lot of singing stuff. I didn't really know that until I saw this. Then also Leslie Grace is in this, who was supposed to be Batgirl. She got cast as Batgirl after doing this. And Melissa Barrera, who's famous now for the Scream movies. She got her like big acting jump
Damn, I
in
didn't
this.
know. I didn't know
Yeah,
he was in this.
he was great
So
in the
It's a
Heights.
great cast. I love the story. And I like the music. I don't remember any of it, but I remember liking it when I watched it. So yeah, that's number 6.
Okay. My number 6 is Mamma Mia, which I will admit I haven't seen it in a long time, but I just remember like loving it so much. And it's another just like iconic. I actually haven't seen the second Mamma Mia. I've only seen the first, but it's such a good story, and the music is iconic. Obviously, like Dancing Queen, and I forget the name of the song, but the one that like the lead sings, like when she's like in the water, like that's another iconic one. It's just it's such a good movie. And yeah, I should probably watch the second one. I've heard good things about it, but yeah.
I've never seen the Mamma Mia movies, but I feel like they have such a chokehold on culture.
I know, because they're so good. At least the first one.
Every time you go to a bar, you're gonna hear Dancing Queen.
Yeah, that's how you know like the music is really good, you know?
Yeah. That was what? That was 6, right?
Yeah, so Joe, you gotta do 5.
5, I had The Lion King.
Wow.
A pretty iconic musical.
You should see it on Broadway. I haven't seen it on Broadway, actually,
no.
so we should go. That's like one, and it's right now, since Phantom closed, Lion King is the longest running show on Broadway right now.
What opened in the Phantom's theater?
Nothing yet. I think they're gonna tear it down and redo it, because that's an old theater.
What do you think they'll put there after?
It's gotta be something big. Maybe something that Andrew Lloyd Webber, like, makes, because he was the, you know,
Director
of Phantom, so they might do another one of his, but like whatever opens up next in that theater has got to be good. Broadway is struggling right now.
But I feel like the big ass ones always do good.
Yeah, but it's just like they're struggling to keep anything open like for a long period of time. Anything that opens is closed. Any original musical that opens is closing.
Like Hamilton.
Yeah, like any like the iconic ones are still open, but like the
Why,
musicals that have been.
Is it like lacking the fan base
I don't know if
nowadays?
it's that, but like literally the only things that stay open are jukebox musicals, which are basically musicals that the music is like other songs. Like there's this new musical out right now called Anne Juliet, and all the music is like Katy Perry. Like Ariana Grande came to go see it because they use her song. Like Moulin Rouge is all like not it's all like old like other people's songs. But like then you have musicals like my favorite musical right now on Broadway, which is Shucked, the Corn musical, which is an original musical that's doing great, and they're closing it.
Why,
Probably to
though?
open.
Is it not making money?
It's making like all right money, but a lot of it's all about like money, because they are gonna close it to open up something else that will be stunt casted. Like, you know who's on Broadway right now? Daniel Radcliffe. Did you know that?
I did not know that. What is he doing?
He's in a musical. So,
Wasn't
like,
Hugh Jackman in something like last year?
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
he's always.
That's like my Roman Empire. He makes me so mad, because that's the reason why Beetlejuice closed the first time. Was because they closed it even though that Beetlejuice was like breaking box office records, like doing amazing. They closed it so that they could open up the revival of The Music Man with Hugh Jackman.
You can't really blame them for that.
It was no, but like the behind the scenes stuff was crazy. Like they didn't have a real reason to close Beetlejuice. Like they like
Well,
Beetlejuice
why
was
couldn't
doing
they just close
so
something
well.
else?
Because they wanted the Winter Garden. Because that theater, I guess, is like great.
Yeah, theater.
Yeah, but you should look into that, because he had a lot to do with it. Hugh Jackman. That's a story for another time.
Yeah, but let me get on with my list.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Number 5, I mentioned it before. I had Tick Tick Boom. This is another one that caught me by surprise. I never really was into musicals too much, but you know I'm a huge fan of Andrew Garfield, so I was like, screw it, I'll give it a watch, and I really liked it. I really found the story of his character very interesting. Jonathan Larson, I forgot his name for a sec. And yeah, for those of you who don't know, it's basically a musical about Jonathan Larson making the musical Rent. And it has its own music in it.
Yeah.
And it is like a sad story of what happens to him. I think he ends up like dying before Rent even hits Broadway, right?
Yeah, he dies the night before the first preview.
Yeah, which is...
What did he die of?
Which is like so tragic. I don't even know what he died of, but it's like he didn't even get to see his work on stage. And like if you watch Tick Tick Boom, like he spends all this time working so hard to get a musical, and then he died the night before it was previewed.
Yeah. And I'm honestly a pretty big Lin-Manuel Miranda hater, just because I think he's goofy. But I think he did a good job directing this.
I forgot he directed that.
And he doesn't really direct, to be honest. But yeah, I think he did a really good job here. And I think everyone involved, the whole cast was really good overall. Vanessa Hudgens actually was in it too.
Yeah.
High School Musical alum. But yeah, that's 5. You probably have more to say about it, Alexandra, whenever it's on your list.
When it's on my list. Number 5, I have Chicago, which I just watched recently, which I think is why it wound up so high, but it was just really good. It was one of like the only musicals that I just felt like, and I've seen it on Broadway too, but I like, you're like involved the whole time, and I just like, I love the way that they tell the story, and it got me actually, I want to go see it again on Broadway now that I saw this movie, because I thought it was that good.
Yeah, I've never seen Chicago. That's one that I've heard a lot about.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
pretty
know
good.
people love the movie, I know.
Yeah, it's definitely a beloved movie, but now I want to see it again on Broadway.
Right, I'm up.
Yep.
Alright, so for 4, I had Little Shop of Horrors, which I only watched because I saw the musical,
Yeah,
and
it was good.
I actually really like it. I think the musical is a little better though, but the movie still is very good.
Yeah, I have like a memory of watching that when I was younger, but I should probably recheck it out. I don't really remember
You
it too
probably
much.
like it, honestly.
So wait,
It's still on Broadway,
do they like
actually.
sing in the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I thought that they just like took the movie and made a musical of it.
No,
and, like,
no, they
added in.
sing. They sing in the movie.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch that soon. So
You should see the play, honestly.
Yeah, it's still
The
out. You
play's
can see
very
it.
good.
You know who's
You know
in it right now? Oh
Who?
my god, wait, this is crazy.
Who?
Corbin Blue, who's in High School Musical.
oh,
Really?
Yeah.
interesting.
Who's he playing?
Seymour.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what I do want to watch? I don't know if it's a musical, but I want to see the Harry Potter thing.
Oh yeah, that is a musical.
Well, The Cursed
yeah,
Child.
The Cursed Child.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that like canon to the
Yeah, it's
don't-
complicated.
It's like
I've also never seen. I actually have not seen
to
that
the
musical.
Harry Potter fucking? I don't know.
I read the screenplay.
Yeah. What is it about?
Uh,
Like his son?
It's about his son and like Draco Malfoy's son, and all of them are like in Hogwarts now, and
Yeah,
I guess shenanigans ensue. I don't really know the
basically,
story.
yeah.
Who's like
but yeah.
the lead?
I think
his son.
his son,
I
right?
think, yeah.
Yeah, it's just because every day when I take the bus home from work, it picks me up
Always
right in front
Yeah.
of
That bus stop.
Yeah, the bus stop is like right in front of where the Harry Potter musical is. So I'm like, I always see the giant. They have like a nest up there. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, damn, I gotta check this out. But, anyways, I'm up to number 4 now for me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is another one where it's like, is it really a musical? But I don't care because I love it so much. I'm gonna toss it on here. And my number 4 is A Star Is Born with
It's a
Lady
musical.
Gaga.
Oh yeah, that's definitely
Bradley
a musical.
Cooper.
Yeah.
I love Bradley Cooper. He's one of my favorite actors, and I love Lady Gaga as an actress. I think she's incredible. When she got cast as Harley Quinn, I was like so excited
Yeah.
because I thought she was perfect for it. But do I even gotta say much? Like The Shallows. Like
Yeah.
I catch myself
Classic.
singing that one here and there. I can't even lie. Like honestly,
Actually,
out of
I
all
went to a
the
wedding that there was a song. What was it called?
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the movies on here, I think The Shallows is probably like my favorite song out of any of the movies on here. I can't even lie.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually,
The
that
story
really
is like,
the only one that's like actually on the radio and stuff.
yeah. Well, I mean, it is Lady Gaga, so I guess it makes sense. But the story's like so tragic. The ending. Did you watch the movie, Joe, or no?
Nah, but I know, like, I kind of know what happens.
Yeah,
I have an
it
idea.
was just I've seen this movie a couple times, and it always hits. It's like, I think it's such a great story. I know it's a retelling because I know A Star Is Born has had like however many remakes.
Yeah.
I know there's one with Barbra Streisand, and I don't know. There's like a couple others, but this was the one of my generation. So, yeah, you could go, Alexandra.
All right, my number 4 was Hairspray, which I love Hairspray. I think I like it so much because they did the like. So there's the original Hairspray, and then they also did a live Hairspray. They did like Hairspray Live, which had like Dove Cameron and Ariana Grande, and I forget who else was in it. The guy from Teen Beach Movie, I think he was in it too. It's just like such a beloved movie. I think it's so good, and I like that's something that I would find myself going back to rewatch. It's also just like a classic. I feel like
That is Zac Efron.
Yeah, he has Zac Efron in it.
I feel like I've seen it, but I like can't remember.
You probably have at some point.
I think this, for some reason, I have a memory of them like showing this to us in school during like a recess when we were inside.
Really?
You know how sometimes they would play stuff on the
Yeah.
when it was too cold to go outside. Would this
They
be
could be
appropriate to
hairspray?
show children though? I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm making things up. But
Maybe watch it at some point.
Yeah.
All right, now we're getting to the top 3. My
All
top
right,
3 is a
Joe.
little crazy, I feel like.
Yeah, my number 3 is Tick Tick Boom, which Alexandra made me watch. Well, didn't make me watch, but introduced me to it, and I really, really liked it.
Glad that you're in your top 3.
Matt, what did you have it at?
5.
Hmm.
Yeah. 3 for me. And this might be one on a lot of people's list, but it's La La Land, directed by Damien Chazelle. The reason why this isn't as high for me is that I don't think the music itself is as memorable, the songs, but it's just such a well-made movie, and I love the story. I love the relationship between the two leads, Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. Emma Stone's one of my favorite actresses ever.
Yeah.
And I know it's like the ending is very divisive, but I think the ending made the movie for me. I absolutely love how they ended it.
I actually haven't seen it, so you
All
can't
right, so I'm not gonna say.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
can't tell
gonna.
me.
You have to watch it though.
I know. I planned on watching it before this episode, but I didn't get a chance.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my number 3.
All right, so this is gonna be very controversial, but my number 3 is Descendants. Basically, like the whole Descendants frame. I couldn't even choose between Descendants 1, 2, and 3. That's how good the Descendants movies are. Okay, in my opinion, again, controversial, that the 3 Descendants films are like the best Disney, like not including animations, are the best Disney live action movie musicals ever. They're so good. Also, I think I have an emotional attachment to it because one of the lead guys, he passed away, Cameron Boyce. He died like super suddenly. He died before the 3rd movie came out. So it was like a big deal because he was like a kid star and he died super young, and then like they did the whole 3rd movie in memory of him. But like the soundtrack is just so good. I listen to that soundtrack all the time. I'm trying to think if you would know anyone who's in it other than Dove Cameron. China Anne McClain is in it, who was on Ant Farm. If you ever remember watching that show.
I'm looking through the cast list right now. I don't really recognize anyone besides Dove Cameron.
Yeah, Dove Cameron's in it, who she was in Hairspray Live, actually. So it's like.
So wait, what is the story? It's like they're descendants of Disney villains.
Yeah, so it's basically like they have like these villains have kids. So it's the story of like, and they like banish all like the villains and their kids to this isle. It's like called like the Isle of something. I think it's called. I want to say the Isle of the Lost or something like that. And all of like the like nice. Like the fairy tale kids live in Oregon, and so the first movie starts off with they decide to take 4 kids from the Isle and let them come to Oregon to like try out like living there, and then Dove Cameron's character falls in love with the prince, and then 3 movies later, that's what happens. But it's so the whole like film like series is just so good.
This is completely random, but it made me think of this. What is that TV show that's like about all like storybook things?
Oh, Once Upon a Time?
Yeah. Joe, did you know that the girl who plays Vanessa in FNAF plays Anna in that show from Frozen?
Yes, and she was so good.
It's like such a weird. I don't know. For some reason, it is similar.
What's her
name,
the actress?
What's
Elizabeth
her name?
Lail.
Because she was in something else.
Yeah, her name's Elizabeth Lail, I think. But yeah, for some reason, Descendants made me think of that. But, yeah, did you finish up with that show, Alexandra, or no?
Which one?
Once Upon a Time?
I watched most of it, but then towards the end, they started to get a little crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, she was in You. That's what she was in. Yeah. But yeah, she was really good in Once Upon a Time.
I don't think I have any desire to watch Descendants, but maybe one day.
Yeah. What is Once Upon a Time?
It's this TV show that's like based on like it's just like all like fairy tale characters.
Yeah, it's like storybook characters kind of, but it's like supposed to be realistic, or I guess somewhat realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Frozen's like an animated.
But they bring in like I remember they had like Rumpelstiltskin in it.
Yeah, Peter Pan.
You watched it, man?
I've seen episodes of it. I think I forget.
it good?
If Mom used to watch it, or Alexander, you used to
Yeah,
watch
we
it.
used to watch it together.
I think I've caught episodes when you guys were watching it, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was good for serialized TV and like
Yeah.
what it was, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, give me a number 2, Joe. What's your runner up?
My number 2 is The Sound of Music.
Oh,
Which
interesting. That's a great movie.
honestly, like the my one and this are like very close. But yeah,
That's it. That's all you gotta say.
I mean, you saw it. I mean, I can.
Sound of Music doesn't even need to be explained.
Yeah, I mean, we just spoke
Alright.
about it.
All right, no, you're right. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, that was one of our movies that we discussed in one of our previous episodes. If you want to check it out, but anyways, I'll give you my number 2. Number 2, this was mentioned earlier on the podcast, but it's actually The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Might
Which
be
is-
controversial pick,
Yeah,
but
only
I love
because
the
I
music.
The reason why, because I said that was my favorite movie of all time, which is true, but in my head, I don't consider it a movie musical, so that's not my number 1.
Oogie Boogie song goes hard.
Yeah, it does.
Like This Is
And, like,
Halloween. Like,
yeah.
come on.
That's very true.
And I love the movie itself, and I also, I like Henry Selick, who directed it. He does like all those, Coraline and James and the Giant Peach and those type of movies. And yeah, it's one that I know it's your favorite movie, or one of your favorite movies at least. So it's one that I watched a lot when I was younger.
Yeah, I dressed as her for Halloween once when I was little.
Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, it just stuck with me a lot. I love the music, and I love the movie itself even more. So, all right, Alexandra, give me a 2.
My number 2 is Aladdin, which I guess is not really controversial, but I just have I have an emotional attachment to it because we did Aladdin for when I was in I-75. That was our play, and not that this person's gonna be listening, but I used to have a crush on the guy who was the lead, who played Aladdin. So I used to watch the movie like every night. That's what I used to do. So I have like such like it's like nostalgic almost because I remember like being in middle school and having a crush on this guy and like watching Aladdin every night, and I like love the movie so much. So yeah, and I just love the music, and I think they did such a good job with the live action version, and like the songs that they added were good. Like it added to it. It wasn't like unnecessary. So,
Yeah, I haven't seen the live action one yet.
It's
but
really good.
I'm not a big fan of Will Smith, so I don't.
Yeah, he was alright. I like the girl though, Naomi Scott. She was really good.
Yeah. All right, what's your winner, Joe? I think I know what it is already, but
Yeah, La La Land.
Damn,
I just think it's so, in terms of like choreography, like cinematography. There's just so much I enjoy about the movie. The only thing I don't like, which you really like, is the ending.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like the ending. That's why it's not a 5.
So I haven't.
I want to talk about the ending, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
No, because I do actually want to watch it.
Yeah, you should watch it.
Because it's definitely like the
ASAP.
most.
Okay.
Like, that's probably the
It's
most controversial thing about the movie, right?
Yeah, definitely. People either it makes or breaks the movie
Yeah, it
for
makes
people.
I mean, for me, I didn't like the ending, but I still love the movie.
Yeah.
Matt,
All
what's your
right.
number 1?
All right, my winner is The Sound of Music. Which,
What? Really?
Yep, it has iconic songs. It's such a well-made movie. We discussed it, like I said. Great performances by the 2 leads. And yeah, it's one of the iconic movie musicals of all time.
Yeah.
It's one that it's not based off of a show, is it? Broadway show?
No.
So yeah, it's just a standalone movie, and it's great at being a movie, and it's great at being a musical. So the only thing I'll say is a bit long, but that's really it.
Yeah, The Sound of Music is great, and that's like a classic that is redone a lot. Not necessarily on Broadway, but they do a lot of regional productions of The Sound of Music because it's so iconic, I guess.
Yeah. All right. We've all been waiting for this moment. Just
All right.
say it.
My number 1 is Tick Tick Boom. I loved that musical so much.
Even
I
more.
wish it would they would do like a version of it on Broadway, because I think it would do really well. I think definitely a part of it has to do with Andrew Garfield, because I love him, but also like the soundtrack is just incredible. Like every song. That soundtrack was my #1 album of the year for 2022, and I listened to it so much that Andrew Garfield was my #2 artist, right below
That was
Taylor
insane.
Swift, because that's how much I listened to the soundtrack because of how good I thought it was. And I just also think he's like such a great actor. Like he did such a good job like playing this role. And I don't know if you know this, but he won a Tony actually. Not for that, but like he was on Broadway and he has a Tony.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, he won for this show called Angels of America. But so I think like that helped with like, his role because he had that experience. But I just think that like the biggest reason why it was so high is because of the music itself. Like I loved that music so much.
Have there
So,
been
yeah.
like any rumblings of them maybe doing it on Broadway or?
No, I haven't heard anything. And that came out, I think if they were going to do it, they should have done it like when it was like the hype was there,
Yeah. Interesting. I'm just curious, Alexandra. Do you have now that we did our list, do you have the list that Mom made?
I do actually.
I know
Do you want to just our mom made a
Yeah.
list too. Do you want to just read it off top to bottom?
So she gave me, she said in no particular order, but I think this is the order. So going from, should I go to from 10 to 1?
Yeah, go from 10 to 1. Just say all of them.
So Grease, Fiddler on the Roof, Sound of Music, Chicago, Hairspray, West Side Story, Mary Poppins, Wizard of Oz, Singing in the Rain, and Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, which she told me is like her all-time favorite.
So I never heard of Seven.
I haven't heard of it either, but I watched a clip of it, and it's like an old-timey musical. But she said like that's her favorite.
Yeah.
But a lot of these are similar to ours. Actually.
Yeah. I mean, our lists there's a couple overlap, but I feel like they're pretty different.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if you expected my list to go the way it did.
I did. I didn't know what you got. I didn't realize that like you liked enough to have a list. I didn't even think you were gonna have any that
I even left a couple off. Well, you know what I actually watched? I watched, what is it called when it's like the recording of the musical again?
like a pro shot or a bootleg.
Yeah. Come From Away. I don't know. If
Oh
you've seen it.
yeah,
That
Come
one's
From Away
really
is good.
But that wouldn't even count as a movie musical in my opinion. If it's just like a recording of the musical itself.
Yeah, that's not. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Because that'd be a totally different list.
But
Yeah.
no, that was actually a surprisingly fun list for us to do. I think.
Yeah.
I know, Alexandra, you probably had a good time putting that list together.
because there's a lot. There's just like so many.
Yeah.
You know.
You could probably expand to a top 20 if need be.
Yeah, and also like there's so many that I have a favorite musicals that aren't movie musicals that like didn't make it on here, which is sad. Also, I imagine that when Mean Girls comes out, that'll make it to my top 10 probably.
I forgot they're doing that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was fun, but time to move on. Sadly, but we'll still stay in that musical spirit. You know.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the movie that I recommended on the last episode, which I did it specifically because I knew you were going to be a guest, Alexandra. Yeah. So
yes,
I decided to recommend High School Musical, which I'm surprised. I can't believe it didn't make it onto your guys' list.
So I originally had High School Musical 2 up there, but I wound up taking it off.
Dude, it's not. It really is not that good.
Can't believe it was in your top 10.
No, the movie itself. Well, first of all, it's a TV movie, and
I know
it was made for Disney Channel. I think like there is no like TV movie Disney musical that has anywhere near the cultural relevancy of this.
Yes, okay, that's true, but like cultural relevance versus like
it actually being good.
How good of it?
Listen, like don't get me wrong, like it's not The Godfather or anything. Like it sucks as a movie. But if you just look at like the songs, it's just banger after banger.
No, you're right. Like every one of the songs is like
every single song hits.
Like, have you watched the second and third ones?
Yeah, like not recently, but I've seen them.
Because I do think like out of the three of them, like the first one's probably like the worst. I think like the second and third are also really good. I almost had High School Musical 3 on my list, and then I took it off.
I think the first one has the best music though.
It has the most iconic music. I don't know if it's the best, but it definitely has the most iconic.
You know what's something that I actually didn't realize? They don't actually even have the musical in the movie.
Oh yeah. It's
They
not
don't-
they don't even get to the point
They
of
don't even get to the musical. I
it's just
forgot about that.
callbacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even do they not get to the point of the musical. They don't even tell you if they got the role, really. Well, actually,
No,
they
they do,
do.
yeah.
They do at the end. But like, you don't get to see anything beyond that. Like, it's just their callbacks. That's it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
The only song that's not good is the one that is like Gabriella's solo when
Oh yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
when she finds out that Troy was like, I don't give a fuck about her or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is like, if you start getting down to the plot and like what's going on, like it's so soap opera-y and nothing even
I
makes
know.
any sense. Like they like secretly recorded and like live streamed Troy saying some shit about Gabriella in the locker
Which is
room.
literally crazy. Like,
Yeah.
Like, how do they have the technology back then to live stream that? It doesn't make any sense.
That whole scene is just like
It's so ridiculous.
Also, like that plot point of this central sort of dilemma. It's like a tension that comes. It's resolved so quickly that you just like forget that it even happens.
yeah, it is resolved really quickly.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, the movie itself not great. But you also were saying, Oxen, I didn't know this until recently that Zac Efron didn't actually sing in the first movie.
Yeah, which I think is another reason why, like, when I was rewatching it, I was like, wow, I was like, this is really killing me. Let me figure out the name of the guy. Okay, it's Drew Seeley, who, let me at least show a picture of him to Joe. This is what he looks like, Joe.
Really?
Do you know who this guy is? He was in,
Well,
like,
now I know who he is.
yeah, he was in, like, a lot of, like, other Disney movies. He was in, the Another Cinderella Story, which was, like, that movie with Selena Gomez. I don't know if you... It was like a Disney movie that was like supposed to be like Cinderella. But like now that I watched the movie and I'm looking at Zac Efron, I'm like, it's so obvious that he's not singing. And I'm almost 100% sure that Vanessa Hudgens is singing.
She sings though.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, Alexandra, like, regardless of whether or not it's their voice, they're all lip singing in the movie.
Yeah.
They're all lip syncing.
But, like,
they
it
record
was-
their voices elsewhere and then play it over because obviously
It was
wouldn't be
more
that-
just like the sound. Like I could tell, because also he does sing in the second and third movies.
Is he good?
So- Well, yeah, because the second and third movies are good, but for some reason in the first one he doesn't sing. So like when you compare
Why,
them,
though? Why?
I don't know what the story was, but he didn't sing his own songs. But then by the time they got to the end of the trilogy, he sings. So it's like there's like this obvious difference.
Yeah. I want to rewatch 2 and 3. Honestly.
I think the best one is probably the second one. That has like the most iconic songs. Fabulous,
I don't
Sharpay's solo
Alright,
song.
Fabulous. That's a good one. But you're saying that's better than Breaking Free.
Yeah. No, also I Gotta Go My Own Way. Oh, that's so iconic.
Okay, that one's good.
Yeah.
But what
That's
about
another good one.
you're really gonna discredit Bop to the Top? Like,
No, Watch the Top. Actually, I'll get to that when we talk about our favorite scenes.
yeah, it was also weird because first of all, Ryan is just like completely 100% gay. Like, was he like supposed to be straight?
So actually, they like confirmed that he's gay in the new like High School Musical, the series show. Because
Okay.
like the last season, they do this thing where they're supposed to be like in the show they're filming High School Musical 4, but it's like that's supposed to be what's happening. So they come back and they like mention that like Ryan is like, married to a guy.
And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because him and Sharpay are supposed to be playing a couple in this musical, which makes no sense for two
they're
reasons.
brother and
One,
sister.
they're siblings, and two, he's just gay. So like, how are they the favorites to get those roles? It doesn't make any sense.
They also like give him a girlfriend at one point. Like he gets a girlfriend. He asks someone to prom. I don't think it's in this movie, but it happens. It's like they're
Troy
trying
and
to convince
Gabriella
him
have
he's
like
not gay.
so much more chemistry. I mean, I guess they end up getting the part anyway.
Yeah.
So, I think also that the movie overall has like a pretty good message for kids, where it's like you shouldn't care about, what other people think and just do what you want to do. And, that's like Troy's whole thing is he thinks his friends are going to judge him because he's going to sing and whatnot. So I think in terms of that, like a Disney Channel kind of kids movie, I think it works for, it's a good message. Although I think slightly a little unrealistic. Like, I don't think he would care, or I don't think his friends would care that much, especially if he's actually good at singing.
Well, because they make it seem like it's like the end of the world in the movie. Like, it's definitely like dramatized,
Yeah. I also thought it was weird how his dad, Troy's dad, was just like such a cock block to him. He was like shooting hoops with Gabriella, and Troy's dad comes in. He's like, she's not allowed to be in here after practice. It's like,
yeah, because he didn't want like he thinks that he's getting distracted. He's not doing enough basketball stuff.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's like 5'6", and he's like, his jumper is not even on fire like that. I mean,
they make him seem like he's this like crazy basketball star.
He doesn't take a shot like more than 10 feet away from the rim the entire movie.
Yeah. What's your guys' favorite? I'll say like favorite scene / song in the movie.
I like Status Quo.
I actually used that song in when I was a senior in high school. We had to like make a performance, and we did stick to the Status Quo.
Yeah.
Because that's just like iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Status Quo scene also a lot. And
yeah.
I remember that song a lot from when I was like, when I was getting the nostalgia for watching it. But I think my favorite song is probably Breaking Free. Although that scene itself. Also, bro, I forgot. Like, the scene at the end makes no sense. They like somehow hack into the scoreboard, and then like the entire both teams that are playing and all the parents just like come into the auditorium. Like, it actually makes no sense.
It's definitely like really unrealistic, but it's funny.
Yeah. No, it is funny. But yeah, I guess my favorite song I think is "Breaking Free." I would say.
So my favorite scene, my favorite scene is probably Bop to the Top because it's just like so iconic. The only thing that annoys me is that they keep cutting back and forth. If you remember, like they'll be like in the middle of singing and they'll stop and cut to them at the like whatever, like in the basketball game. So like that annoyed me. But then in terms of like songs, I think that probably Breaking Free because it's just like so iconic. Or We're All in This Together. Because again, like We're All in This Together, like that'll be known like for generations. Like people will always know We're All in This Together. Yeah. It's just such a good song. Like I think it's a good movie, but it's just like now that I watch it as I'm older, it's like the more you think about it, the worse it is. No,
I think it's a bad movie, honestly. I think if it didn't have iconic music, it would be like... It
would be really bad.
Absolutely terrible. Like, thank God they nailed the music.
Because if they didn't, it would have been awful.
Yeah. In terms of favorite characters, though, obviously, I gotta go with Troy. I remember, like...
Really? He's your favorite character?
When I was younger, it's not like... I didn't idolize Troy or anything, but I was kind of like, damn, like, I wish I was like him. Because he was fly, he got the hot
also,
girl.
he played basketball, so...
Yeah. So... And, those movies were introduced to me when I was, like, an impressionable little kid, so...
Yeah. You were Troy for Halloween once, I
think. I was. I had the Troy haircut going on.
Yeah, you definitely had the Troy haircut for a while.
Yeah. So... What about you guys?
What?
Your favorite
character?
I guess, like, the... what's her name?
Gabriella?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean... I don't know. I really didn't think the acting was very good in this either. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Wait, you know what, Joe? Now that you bring up Gabrielle, there's also something else that bothered me.
What?
Where it's like about her character, they're like, "Oh, she's the weird math freak
because
she was smart." Like, bro, she's like a hot high school girl. Like, she's gonna be popular.
Yeah.
Like, why would she not be popular? Because because she's good at math. Like, it made no sense. They were trying to portray her as some nerd.
Like when she first got there and she was like, "Mom, I don't want to be the freaky math girl." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like the way she said it was so stupid.
Anyways.
Oh wait, so
Sorry.
my favorite
Yeah.
character. I honestly might have to go with Sharpay, and I think it's because of how I know her through the other two movies mostly. Because I feel like she doesn't get a lot of character development in this movie, but the next two movies are so good. Like her, like whole. Also, she has her own movie. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah,
She gets her own movie called Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure, and she's like such an iconic character. Yeah, and I just think like out of everyone, she had like the biggest person. Like clearly, she had like the biggest personality. Like she made the biggest impression as a viewer.
Yeah.
Like Gabriella's character is great, but kind of boring, you know? Like, I think Sharpay's more interesting. She has a bigger personality.
Yeah.
I thought.
All right. Yeah, I already said mine though. Troy.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I don't know if you guys have anything else to really add about the movie.
I mean, I know that I didn't really like the script. I mean, I could go on about. I'm not gonna drag it through the mud, but the music like carried this, because if it didn't have the music, it probably would be 1 star.
No, you should definitely watch the other two. Like the last movie, like
I'm sure I like the other
made me
ones
cry.
better.
It was so like.
Yeah.
But also that's because like I remember like listening to the soundtrack like when I was graduating high school.
How is
And
the show?
And the third one is when they graduate.
Yeah, Alexander. How is like the show? I know it made Olivia Rodrigo famous.
Yeah.
That's at least one insanely big thing that came out of it. But how does it stand in terms of like its connection to the movies, and do you think
it's not it's like not really supposed to be necessarily connected. Like it's just supposed to be that they go to the school where this musical was filmed. So because they go to that school, their musical for the year is High School Musical. Like that's the musical that they do. So it's not like connected to the the universe in High School Musical. It's kind of like connected to like as if it was like real life. Like the actors are all the same people. That makes sense.
See.
Like it's because like Corbin Blue comes back. He like is in like one of the seasons. Like the girl who plays who else comes back? Ryan, he comes back. So like they play like
older versions of the actors.
Yeah, but like the actors play themselves.
Yeah.
So
you know who I forgot to mention that I like? That girl that's like the assistant.
Oh,
Forgot her
Kelsey.
name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I really
Yeah,
like her.
that's who they make Ryan's girlfriend at one point.
I mean, respect.
It doesn't even make sense though.
She has like this weird outfit towards the end. I remember she's wearing like a hat and like a bow tie for no reason. I like her
that
character, though.
That random dude just goes up behind her and like makes her shoot a free throw for some reason.
Like just like literally for no reason at the
Absolutely no
end.
reason, yeah.
Yeah, at the end they tried to like pair everyone off with someone for some reason.
Because
really
Sharpay and that guy, I don't know if he has a name, but
yeah,
they try to pair them up at the end. But you should definitely watch the second two. And like the series is good, but honestly, once Olivia Rodrigo left, like that middle season without her was pretty bad, but the most recent season was pretty good.
Why'd she leave?
Probably got too big for it, right?
Yeah, she got too like honestly at that point she was too famous and like there was no point in her being there. Like she clearly was doing much better.
Well, they probably would have had
Yeah.
to pay her like too much to stay.
Yeah. It just like wasn't worth it. So she's in the season, but like she makes like a cameo. So it's not really like she still appeared, but
Yeah.
I mean it was worth it for her.
No, yeah. What did you rate it, man?
I actually gave it a 3-star, 6 out of 10. And
Wow.
That's pretty generous.
it is generous, but I just think the music is it's way too iconic. The fact that they went like 9 for 10 is like that has to be studied.
With every song,
like how insane they went on that.
I actually also gave it a 6 out of 10.
Say really? You gave it
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I just feel like it was really good, but not. Actually, I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
Jesus. Dude.
Yeah, a 7, not a 6. I think it deserves more than
I
that.
gave it a 4 out of 10.
Damn.
It really was not
Yeah.
good.
Thought it was that bad.
It's a made-for-DVD like Disney movie. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
it
good.
was so iconic.
Yeah, it has a lot of cultural impact, I'm sure.
What's interesting though, like no one ever does High School Musical like for a show. Really, we actually did High School Musical. in I-75, Matt. I think it was your year. Didn't you guys do the High School Musical?
I don't remember.
I didn't do it.
Because we did Aladdin. I think your year did High School Musical.
I wonder who played Troy.
I remember. Can I name drop?
Yeah, you can name drop.
Mike Lutz, Kaylee's brother.
Matt Lutz?
Oh, no, not Matt Lutz. Michael Lutz. You're thinking of somebody else, but Kaylee Lutz, my friend, her brother, played Troy.
Good for him. It should have been me, though, if you're listening. That should have been me.
You didn't even audition, probably.
Nope. They should have just seen me.
Crazy.
But, anyways, yeah, alright. That one was... I'm glad we got to, like, discuss that. That's kind of different than what we usually talk about on here, Joe.
Yeah.
We usually talk about, like, high-end...
I think you guys should, like, see the Mean Girls musical when it comes out. And
I'll
discuss
watch it. Yeah, I'll watch it.
I don't know, Joel. You probably won't like it, but...
What?
The Mean Girls musical. The movie musical.
Yeah.
I gotta watch the original Mean Girls first. It's on my list to watch soon.
That's so iconic. You should definitely talk about that.
Yeah. Alright, well, that'll about wrap up the discussion today. But we do have a Q&A that we have to do, and we actually have a lot of questions this week. So we could run through them really quick. So
why don't you save some of them? Don't ask all of them.
Nah, we'll just go through, because a lot of them are for you, because they know you're going to be on here.
Okay.
At Tom.Lieberman has a couple questions.
Okay.
At Tom.Lieberman _, I should say. But you already know him. He asks questions all the time. Do you think Marvel should bring the OG cast back? I'll say
no.
No.
That's my opinion.
But the Secret Wars, sure. Anything else, no.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, what is the point? They're all dead, basically. Iron Man is dead. Black Widow's dead. Captain America is presumed dead. Clint is supposed to be retired.
Well, Secret Wars is going to be like them from different.
I know, but I feel like that's just so. I don't know. I feel like that's
bringing them back
makes sense.
Bringing them back permanently, I don't think would work.
No, because after Secret Wars, they're going to do a reboot, and there's going to be like a new Tony Stark and like a new.
What?
Well, they're going to have Anthony Mackie probably stay.
Yeah.
But like, there'll be a new Black Panther. Like, they'll just redo everything.
All right.
What else we got?
Tom has another question. Do you think Taylor Swift has the potential to be a good actress?
No.
Sure.
No.
Probably not. She's such a bad actress. I
think
love her so much. I love her literally, like, and she's just not a good actress.
Did you ever watch Amsterdam or no?
Yeah. Well, I watched it not when it was in theaters.
She kind of sucked in it.
Yeah,
she wasn't like non-salvageable. Like, I think
she's a good voice actor. I don't know if you ever saw the Lorax, but she was good in the Lorax. She was a voice actor.
I've seen her in that Capital One commercial recently. She's she's decent in that.
I think she's better off being a director because she's a good director. And I know that she's like trying to get more into that, like, and also like writer. Like, she clearly has an art with storytelling, so I think she's better off. But I think maybe you're right. Like, maybe if she really like worked at it, she could become a good actor. But I don't know. She's not there. She should like. It like pains me when she does acting because everyone talks about how bad she is, and it's true. Like, I can't even say it's not true. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Tom, for those questions. And then got one from at CPA Mama 3.
Nice.
So our mother, thanks for the question. What was your earliest memory of watching musicals, and how do you think it affected your love of movies today? I would say my earliest memory has got to be like the old Disney movies.
Yeah,
like,
I was gonna say Disney movies,
The Lion King and Little Mermaid, Aladdin, all those. How did it affect?
Like, honestly, like
my love of movies.
The Christmas movies too.
That's true. Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Like, which ones?
Frosty Snowman.
Yeah.
What's the one with like the Heat Miser and Snow Miser?
Oh yeah, I forgot the name of it, but yeah.
Something Santa Claus. Some without a Santa Claus.
Yeah, without Santa Claus.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it affected because most of those were animation, so I think it sort of instilled like a love of animation in me, which is why I still appreciate like animated movies nowadays.
Yeah.
What about you, Alexander?
My earliest memory was probably when my first Broadway show that I saw, which was Beauty and the Beast, which I don't remember very well, but I just like remember like the whole experience, like going to the theater and like it was like such like a big deal at the time because I was so young. So I don't know how it affected the way I like movies, but that's my earliest memory.
Nice. All right, that was a good question. Thanks.
Yeah.
And then from at Deborah208, she asked a question. I think this is more for you, Alexandra. What was your favorite
Okay.
scene in Beetlejuice?
Oh, yeah, she told me about this. So, my favorite scene in Beetlejuice the movie, I think is I like the scene when they're like looking at when they're in the attic and they're looking at like the like map of the town and like Beetlejuice is like really tiny. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I like
When
that
it-
scene because I just think it's like cool visually. When like they're looking at him and he's like still really small.
Yeah, I like the waiting room scene.
Oh yeah, that's really good too, actually. Like visually, because there's a lot of stuff in there. But
Yeah,
then
I
in
just-
the musical, this wasn't really the question, but
Go for it. Go ahead.
my favorite scene in the musical is when Beetlejuice and Lydia meet for the first time, and they have this song that they sing called "Say My Name," which is like so iconic, which you've probably heard on TikTok if you listen to it after this. But it's like because like the whole musical is like this like build up in like both of their or not really lives because he's dead, but like the build up on either side of them, and then this one song is when they finally meet. So it's really good.
Cool. Joe, do you remember any that stick out or no?
Mhm. I mean, I feel like I never really watched.
What, the movie?
Oh, I mean, I haven't seen it in a while. I mean, like the dinner scene where they all like
Mhm.
that's pretty like.
Oh, where they
famous scene.
sing?
Yeah,
Yeah, that one's great too.
and there's a lot of like creature like design. I probably would on rewatch. Probably would like it a lot too.
Yeah.
Well, Beetlejuice 2 is coming out next year, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
you probably should rewatch it. Just
Yeah.
to, you know. All right.
I definitely
Thanks.
will.
Thanks for the question. Then one from at Emily Wozneski, first time question asker. She asks, "What's your favorite and least favorite movie genres and why?" I guess I could start first.
Yeah.
My least favorite is probably like, I don't know if this is a genre, but like, you know those like action comedy spy movies, like in the vein
Yeah.
of like Kingsman. I really
Yeah.
don't like any of those type of movies at all. And I'm always like bothered by them for some reason.
Really?
Yeah. That's just off the top of my head. And then my favorite is definitely horror, specifically slasher. I like
Really? Interesting.
slashers. I like, Michael Myers, Freddy, all those. I like having an iconic villain sort of at the forefront of your horror movie. So,
Yeah.
Right. Joe?
all right.
Mm. I don't know. I feel like I watch like everything. There's nothing like particularly that like.
Is there anything that you
Yeah.
don't like?
I mean,
High School Musical.
I don't like bad movies, but I don't know. I mean, I don't really like religious movies. I never really was into that. But I mean, I'll still watch them. But other than that, but I mean, I do like horror. It's probably my favorite genre.
What about like a subgenre of horror? Like, do you like slashers more or like
Probably, like,
hauntings?
Gore,
Interesting.
or like something
Yeah.
in the vein of like more like an Evil Dead than like a Scream.
Yeah. Alexandra, what you got?
I think my least favorite, I don't even know if this is a genre, but like historical movies, I
Yeah.
just find them like super boring. I never am like able to get into them, so I don't really like those. My favorite might be superhero movies because I feel like I'll like any superhero movie. Like I don't love like DC as a whole, but I like I'll enjoy any superhero movie. I just love the whole concept. So yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. That was a good question. Thank you.
Yes.
Then we got a couple questions from at Makiko R. I don't know if
Yes.
that's the correct way to say your username. I don't know what that R is doing over there, but
It's her last
Um,
starts with an R.
oh, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, there we go. One of her questions is, what are 3 movie characters you would want to invite to a rager? That's a great
That's
question.
such a great question. All right, I'm gonna
right.
go first.
You go first. You go first.
Okay. I'm gonna try and not do all Marvel characters, but that's gonna be hard. But I'm gonna say, considering we just saw the Marvels, Kamala Khan, she's a 16-year-old kid. I know I'm almost 21, but like picturing myself if I was like a little bit younger, fighting a high schooler to a rager, that would be so much fun. Let's see if I could branch out to be on Marvel. Maybe Jax Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Got the Rager.
He'd probably
That'll
go
be
so
fire.
hard at the Rager, I feel like. And then I don't want to do. Can I do from a TV show or no?
There's no rules here.
Okay, then I'm gonna say probably Catherine from the Vampire Diaries. I think she'd be crazy. I don't know. I don't think you've seen the
Yes.
Vampire Diaries, but she would go crazy at a Rager probably.
All right. I would probably say J. Robert Oppenheimer from Oppenheimer, Chewbacca, and Ryan from High School Musical, probably.
Ryan from that's what you want at the Rager? That's crazy. I mean, he
Yeah,
definitely
that would
spice it
actually be
up.
fire. That would
Yeah.
be crazy. Chewbacca in there making the noises. Then like Oppenheimer just pondering.
Yeah,
That would be sick.
that's good.
What you got, Joe?
I got, I think Pinhead, the talking cat from Coraline, and
Oh
Freddy
my-
Fazbear.
That is a crazy combination of people. Oh my god, it's not
Fire.
even people. It's like beings.
No, Pinhead would be
Actually not.
fire.
Yeah,
He might murder everyone in there. But
maybe a fine. It'd be like the scene in Blade.
yeah. All right. Thank you. That was a great question, but
Yeah, it was a good
you
question.
got some more though. Hold on.
She got
You
some
could
good
s-
questions.
If you could switch the genre of two movies, which one would you choose? Describe the plot changes.
Hmm.
Switch the genre.
Genre. I gotta think about this.
Okay, wait, let me think for a sec. I would make. I could do like a High School Musical horror kind of
I was
thing.
gonna say that to
Yeah.
make like a Disney movie, like a horror movie. I think that'd
Yeah.
be interesting.
Like a High School Musical horror. Ryan is the killer, and he starts killing off everyone one by one.
Yeah,
And like everyone
a-
thinks it's Sharpay, and then like Ryan just comes out and he's like killing everyone.
like
Not
a
not
murder
comes out,
mystery.
not like comes out like that. I didn't mean it like that. But he like pulls up and starts like murdering Troy and stuff. That
Oh
would be
my.
pretty sick.
Oh, that's crazy. I would agree, but maybe not High School Musical. I would say like some. I'm trying to think of like something like really crazy. I mean, maybe like The Sound of Music as a horror movie could go crazy. Like the nanny that comes in, kills everybody, except she's not really a nanny. I don't know what her title is, but she, instead of being a part of the family, just starts murdering everyone. That'd be
Yeah.
crazy.
But you know what, Joe? Before you go, I want to give an actual serious one. I would think like a Batman horror movie.
Yeah, no. I was
Where
actually
it's,
gonna
like,
say.
It's
I
like
was gonna say
really
that.
dark, and the villains can use like body horror and stuff. Like you get
Yeah.
Scarecrow in there or something. That would be sick.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But,
no,
yeah.
I was gonna say like a superhero horror movie, like but more in like a horror vein, like
They could do it.
yeah, they can. I don't know. I don't know. Eventually, they will. I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. Then yeah, one more. Take your favorite music artist and place them into a movie. Which movie would it be? I would put. Let me think about this.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I don't know if I have a favorite music artist at the moment.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So I'm just gonna choose Nav. Now it's just like you have Nav. Where do you place him in cinema history? It's a really difficult question.
Yeah. Like I
Nav.
don't even. I guess I'll just say Freddie Mercury. But what am I
I'll-
gonna?
What are you gonna put him in? He could be in a horror movie.
Yeah. He could.
I would put Nav in like the most serious movie possible. So it's just like Nav in there.
As himself?
Like Nav in Schindler's List or something. And he's just there.
Oh my god.
That's no, that's actually a little too messed up. How about Nav in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? And like Jim Carrey's character just goes to him for advice and he's like, Nav, like what
And
do I
Nav
do?
gives him advice.
And he's like, yo, like don't forget about her. Like that would be pretty sick.
So it's actually funny that this question's asked because mine could possibly come true next year. Because I would put Taylor Swift in a superhero movie, which could happen potentially. The rumors are it's going to.
Oh yeah.
There are
She
some
might be-
rumblings.
Yeah. Which I think it's very much possible because she's such good friends with Ryan Reynolds. Not that he has that big of a say. And also, they all went to the Chiefs game together.
No,
Hugh
he definitely has
Jackman
a
and
big
Ryan
say.
Reynolds and Taylor Swift. They were at the Chiefs game together.
Yeah, and Sean Levy.
Yes, he
directed
was.
him.
Yeah, he was there too. So that makes me think that she's going to be in it. Which my hope is by then, maybe she'll be. But I also think this would be a little different because her character is like a singer, right?
Yeah.
Dazzler,
So-
yeah.
Yeah, so I think maybe that would be a little bit, hopefully, better. But yeah, I'd love to see her in a superhero movie. So hopefully it'll happen.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, what you got?
I really don't. I don't know. It's a tough question, dude.
Put Freddie Mercury in FNAF.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
In FNAF, would he sing on stage with them? Probably.
They put him in an animatronic.
A Freddie Mercury animatronic?
They
That'd go
want it because he
crazy.
could sing.
Maybe they would
Exactly.
want him.
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Michael Jackson could like help out William
They
Afton
get-
a little bit.
That would be crazy. Honestly, he probably would. So
Anyways,
Yeah.
that was a pretty. Those are some great,
Yeah.
interesting questions that we had
Yeah.
to ponder a bit for. So, we have one last question, then we could wrap things up from at John_Croupy, who asks, FNAF movie or the Marvels? I'm going with FNAF. I have to.
I'm gonna say the Marvels, which I think probably is pretty obvious. But like
I
FNAF
think-
was good, but it just didn't. It's basically how you feel about the Marvels is how I feel about FNAF. It
I
was
think-
good, but it didn't blow me away.
Yeah.
Freddie Fazbear would destroy Captain Marvel. Given
Yeah,
the
That is-
opportunity.
that's the thing.
Definitely not true.
All right, well,
I
you
know-
don't understand
FNAF
his
was-
power.
No, like FNAF was okay, but it wasn't as good as I was expecting. I was expecting more. I'll say that.
Yeah. Alright.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that about wraps it up. We could just quickly do our movie recommendation, Joe, if you wanna.
Yeah. So I actually gonna recommend an animated movie this week. And I forgot what year it came out in, but it's Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Was that what it is, right?
Mhm.
I've never actually seen it. A lot of people say this is the best. Some people say it's the best Batman movie ever made. Some people, and I'm pretty sure most people say it's the best animated Batman movie.
I've seen
But
it.
have you
I think
seen
it's- I think it's slightly overrated, but
Yeah.
it's short. I'm down to check it out again and see if my opinions change
How recently did you watch it?
within the past year. I would
Wow.
say. So
I've never actually
Yeah, I know
seen it.
people love that movie. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all right. So yeah, we'll do that. And then I also gotta recommend my list. I'm just gonna recommend the top 10 sports movies. That's what you were gonna recommend
Yeah.
last week, but we switched it because Alexandra was
Yeah.
joining us, and I don't think she would have had much to contribute to that list.
Probably not.
No.
Only a couple.
But yeah, so all right. So next episode will be in 2 weeks, episode 37, and we'll have the Hunger Games prequel. Possibly Thanksgiving, Napoleon. I'm hoping for. We're gonna have to figure it out with timing because I know
Oh,
you're
yeah,
going away,
word.
Joe. But we'll update you guys on what to watch.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So yeah, we'll figure it out. And anyways, Alexandra, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah,
I hope you had.
thanks for coming along.
I had a
Hope you had
great
a-
time. Thanks
yeah.
for having me. I'd love to be on one day, maybe in the future. There's something else coming
It
out.
won't be for Captain Marvel 3 because they're not making
It's
it.
not nice.
That's for sure.
maybe
Anyways,
maybe heard to something else.
make sure to send this to all your buddies. Have them
Yeah.
give it a listen. If they like it, tell them to send it to their buddies, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, all the things.
Yeah.
And we accept small donations as well, upwards of maybe in the millions of dollars if you're feeling generous.
That would be nice.
And yeah, that's about it. So thanks everyone for listening. And yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks with episode 37.